Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, May 4th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ ORIONNWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the NHL Playoffs West second round, game number 2, Seattle Kraken versus the Dallas Stars, live reactions, and a watch party with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. So we got Lakers and Warriors just tipped off on ESPN. And then here on TNT, we got the Florida Panthers up 3-2 on the Maple Leafs with about 12 minutes to go in the third period. Florida as the underdog, just like the Kraken, playing a little bit better than expected. Should be fun. I've been waiting the last couple days for this matchup, and I actually with the NBA, I'm not going to be really excited about too many matchups, but this is actually one of the better ones that's left in the NBA playoffs, with the Lakers up 1-0 on the Warriors, which I think maybe surprised some people, but it definitely could go 6 or 7 games. And I got some photos prepped here. We had to switch it up and hit it up with Joe. He had to definitely get on the thumb this time around. But I'm ready to go. I'll even give Dallas their logo. Obviously got to contain under 4 goals, which what he got in game 1. Jason Robinson. He's got to maintain. And Oliver. Some Maddie. Got to hit you up with the other jersey. Jordan Eberle. And then Grew has to play big. Obviously, was probably caught off guard from doing so well in Game 7 against the Avalanche. But I think most people knew, just like in this series that we're watching right now with Florida. Florida and Seattle are kind of in the same boat. Heavy underdogs, but they've been playing hot and healthy for the most part, besides the major injury that the Kraken had with Jared McCann, which was unfortunate, but they're showing that they can still win without him. They have the depth. And as long as we don't give up 4 to a single individual, I think we'll be okay. And, based off how playoffs typically go, more chances or not, Dallas will win this game. I mean, that's just what the kind of numbers say. The history says it would be very crazy to think that we go into Dallas up 2-0, and then you're going back to Seattle with an opportunity to have a few there to take care of business. And I don't think anyone thinks it's going to be a sweep by any means. But if Seattle ends up winning this game in game 2, I think everyone on planet Earth will finally be like, whoa, Seattle is for real. And the same thing goes for Florida with the Panthers. If they win, as the underdog, even though they beat Boston, I mean, once you beat the best, you're riding that momentum. So even though Toronto and Dallas are favored, would it really surprise anyone if it was Seattle or Florida that advanced in the series? And I don't think people would be that shocked by it. So definitely excited for the opportunity here. And hopefully we have a good game plan tonight. Let's go. Dusk in the building. How are you? Yeah, I was wondering where you were, man. I ended up doing the game. That was actually on my birthday that we did the game on Tuesday. So obviously, I mean, at that point, if I wanted to do, the Lakers and the Warriors, that's a good enough series where you're going to get, some people to come for that particular matchup. But, I feel NFL and NBA markets are sometimes a little oversaturated and whatnot. And if you're not getting the proper notifications, it might be a little bit tougher. But I think with NASCAR, Major League Baseball, and NHL, there's a little bit more wiggle room. And we've had really good numbers on every stream that I've done, even non-Kraken matchups, like with the Devils and Rangers Game 7 that I did as well. So I'm enjoying it. And I would actually, honestly, even though I know more about the Lakers and the Warriors and the NBA overall, the NHL excites me more. I get more juiced up for it, and I'm like invested fully. So it's like even matchups like this, Florida and Toronto, maybe in the past, I wouldn't even blink an eye. I'm just like, I'm changing the channel. Now I'm into everything. It's just maybe I just needed Seattle, to have a team, or Portland, and then for me to be able to, like, okay, I finally have someone that I can root for, and not be a bandwagon guy living in Oregon and trying to take advantage of someone else's greatness, like the Penguins or the Red Wings or Colorado from back in the day and last year. I don't want to be that guy. The last time I picked a team, the latest I think I was age-wise out of all my teams was, I'm trying to think, like when I committed to the very last team, maybe like 13 or 14 years old, something like that. So, and all the others were pretty much done by 5, 6, 7 years old. So release the Kraken. But, like this Florida series is very intriguing to me. And I know some people probably don't give a crap about it. But, for people that are hardcore NHL fans or newbies, or people that used to watch back in the day and then maybe stop for a while like myself, and then I'm back in it 100%. They're almost kind of a mirror image of Seattle. Like I said, they're going to be the underdog. No one gave them a shot, to beat Boston. They had, the best record, the Bruins, most points. It was one of these like spectacular years, but everyone kind of felt that they were a fraud. It felt like, besides maybe Boston fans, it didn't feel like the same dominance that we saw with Tampa Bay last year, and especially Colorado. Colorado was preseason number 1 and they ended number 1, and you felt it. Even if you're not a full-blown hockey fan. Hell, I didn't really watch a whole lot of hockey last year, and before the playoffs started, I was able to predict Colorado over Tampa Bay in 6 games, Colorado winning. How am I able to do that if I'm not watching every game? If you read enough and you watch enough clips and you keep up on things, even if you're not watching full games, sometimes you can get a gauge if you know how 7-game series works. But I'm not sure. Like I said, I feel with Boston, it just didn't feel the same type of championship caliber, and they got upset. So, for Florida and Seattle, is it destiny for those teams to go further than people think? And it's exciting to be able to see underdogs, and we already know what superstars are on Toronto. They got some of the best in the game. But they're hanging tough, 3-2 on the road, and they're already up 1-0. So it'll be very interesting if it mirrors that play. And then I got the Warriors and Lakers. Lots of friends for both that message me what they think. I kind of tell them the honest opinion about it. I honestly think the Warriors are the better team, probably the only team that could give fits to Denver if they played each other in the Western Finals. But the Lakers, they seem like they were getting hot and healthy at the right time. Their role players have really stepped up. And if you can beat Memphis, you can beat anybody in the West, and that includes Golden State. So for the Lakers to win this game, it might be essential for them winning the series. If the Lakers want to win the series, this might be like a must-win game, even though the coach probably isn't approaching it like that. But you want to make sure, psychologically, if you're the Warriors and you think you're the better team by a lot and you're down 0-2, that's not good for their confidence. They know they can come back, but that might be the extra edge LeBron has, instead of it just being 1-1. Which possibly it could be today. Warriors usually don't play that shitty at home. 3-2 Florida. 8 minutes left in the third period. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Release the Kraken, baby. Let's go. We missed you, man. I was wondering where you were. And then, of course, that's the one that ended up going into OT. And I got a victory on the birthday. Mariners and Kraken. So that was pretty phenomenal. Sarah in the building. How are you? Let's get to 100 in donos. Let's do it. Let's try to hit the goal. It's fun, and I think every win that the Kraken get, more and more people are kind of invested. And I think more people would be invested in Florida, but it's just that they're not the new team. They're not Seattle. We're kind of the new flavor, in the Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors. We're the new flavor right now of the month, but it feels like Seattle could keep this up. Like, it seems like they're not going to be able to probably go to the playoffs every year and in consecutive years. We all hope so here in the Pacific Northwest, but it just doesn't seem like a flash in the pan. And with the Mariners, we're struggling right now too, even though we swept the A's, but we kind of feel that we still can maybe turn it around. But it just sucks sometimes when you have to wait till summer and it just feels like you suck in April and May and there's no hope. And then all of a sudden you turn it around and maybe you get close to 90 wins and you hit the playoffs. So in the Pacific Northwest, we're kind of feeling kind of humble, and appreciative where things are, but definitely wanting to be able to make a name. And what the Seahawks did with Geno, you got what the Mariners with Julio, and now with the Kraken, second year, doing big things, even advancing further than people think. And honestly, I think that they match up really well against Dallas, and I don't think Seattle's intimidated. If you can beat Colorado, in their minds, they can go as far as they can go. I'm not sure how far that is. I mean, Grew will have to be an excellent, goalie throughout, the games, but it just feels like, there's going to be an underdog story once in a while, and maybe we'll get two with Florida and Seattle, but Panthers and Kraken definitely playing above expectations because they believe in themselves, but they're hot and healthy for the most part besides Seattle and McCann. 1, 2, 3, release the Kraken. Let's go. Yeah, very cool. I'm jealous. I will have to get one. I don't know necessarily who I will get, you know what I mean, when I do decide to get one. But out of all my sports jerseys, I was thinking, I could always get another Mariner jersey. But at some point down the road, I'm going to go for the icy white. And then I don't know what I'll do. I'll have to think about it. Maybe I like defense and I like offensive line for, football and defense. I'm a defensive kind of guy. I appreciate special teams. I like the guys that are kind of underappreciated. And so even though like the centers and the forwards and the defensemen usually get all the love, and obviously goalies get pub if they're good, but maybe Grew will be my first, and even if the career isn't going to be very, very long for him to, be here, I don't know how long he'll play for. But just that Game 7 memory against Colorado, that memory alone might be worth enough for me. And like I said, if I was going to get a jersey, typically it would be obviously goalie first if the goalie is actually worth a damn. And then if not, maybe the center, because we already know the center is kind of like the point guard or the shooting guard. And obviously usually one of the best players on the team if your team is good, and the guy that usually gets the most goals or is up there for goals and assists. I mean, you don't have to be a hockey expert to know those little things. So, yeah, but we missed you. We missed you, Dusk. Michael is in the building. How are you? NWO. New world order for life, brother. Oh, yeah. It's funny, too, because I actually just brought my Scott Hall. I had a big box, so I was kind of going through all my figures, and I was like, I got to be able to display some other ones. So I got this very limited Scott Hall NWO. So anytime, and then it's cool. These ones are cool because if you like, these ones are the best because anytime you can squeeze legs or arms and they move, that's what the figures are all about back when I was a kid. And then obviously in the NWO era. So I got him placed right next to Hogan with the guardrail, all my Mariner figures. And then I had to bring out Luke and Butch with the Boss Man and Hogan. My dad did very well with a lot of the vintage WWF figures. I usually try to find like 1988 to 91, usually in that range, because that's when I was super little, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And, vintage stuff. Like I like the bobbleheads and the figures and the starting lineups and the McFarlanes, but sometimes just the older stuff, the better. Definitely brings back the childhood memories for sure. Yeah, but the jersey looks good. The jersey looks good, and I'll have to decide what route I'll go. But I'm definitely going to go for the icy white more than likely. But down the road, this is not something that's just going to be like a temporary thing. Eventually, I'll end up probably having one of each color at some point or another, but probably starting off with the white if I can find it. No worries. Like I said, when I, put my video in there, I noticed that she is doing stuff for the Kraken, female, obviously, and that's cool. Anyone that is, it's tough, to be able to grind, regardless if you're a man or a woman, and then you're trying to break through. So hopefully everything goes good with her, and who knows? Maybe one day, we'll collab together. You know what I mean? Anyone that's got love for, the Mariners or the Kraken, there's no point of, trying to be a hater and, have these egos and type of thing. It's always good to be able to, hang out with different people. And especially if someone is trying to do their own thing and grow, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to that. So you let her know, down the road, and maybe we can figure something out. I mean, like I said, hockey playoff intensity is on a whole nother level. That is big facts. I know, it was awesome, but they found a way to, defeat the odds. Right? Very rare. That's what I'm telling you. In this like NBA and NHL playoffs, like weird things are kind of going on where normally we can predict what's going to happen, and it's like the predictions are even for upsets. We're a little surprised, right? And and it's also on top of that with Major League Baseball, all the teams that were good last year now they're not so good this year, and then a lot of the shitty teams have emerged like top dogs. Like if you were going to tell me the Orioles and the Pittsburgh Pirates would be balling out of control, and obviously Tampa Bay would win like 12 or 13 games in a row to start off their season, and like Astros and Dodgers and Cardinals and Mariners and all these teams that normally were pretty fucking good are like either 500, barely over 500, or just ass and just not good this year. And obviously it's going to take some time for some of these teams to get hot and hopefully healthy at the right time. But yeah, I think that the baseball playoffs might be that way too, where we're going to get some crazy upsets. I don't know what's in the water or what's in the air, but I kind of like it. You don't always want to be able to predict everything, and it's kind of nice when you have David versus Goliath, right? And sometimes you're going to get the top dog, and Goliath is going to win, but sometimes you get the underdog that no one really believes in, or they kind of like you, but they just don't think you're good enough because of experience, kind of like the Kings. I really like the Kings. But if they had a little bit more experience, maybe they beat the Warriors and maybe they go a little bit further and make it to the Western Finals. They would lose to Denver, but it's just like they were a top 3 team all year. And that's really the one thing that held them back is just the experience of playoff basketball, which goes up a little bit of a level. But 21-19 Lakers, but I think I have a little bit of a delay, so I assume that score might be a little different here. Let me bring up my other tab so I can bring up the ESPN. 21-19. All right, so I got the game on there. Seems like it's still the same. But, yeah, absolutely. Crazy. Yeah, plus when you go for 6 goals in the first period, I guess you can't assume that pace is going to continue. And it seemed like at that point, Dallas kind of punched Seattle in the mouth. They started to catch up, and it seemed like 90%, of the action was on, their side of the ice. And it was like we were in defense mode and kind of, I don't know, I'm just kind of intimidated, it felt like, and they just needed to find a way to hang on, in the third period and get a little bit more aggressive, which they did. And then obviously anything can happen when you go to OT. I can. Like I said, sometimes, if they feel that, they need a change, maybe some players voiced, something. But, it's not, if Giannis gets injured, what do you expect? I mean, you can't really put that on him. And so even though the coach is still good, right, maybe they just need a fresh start and thinking that someone else can win a championship for them. But really, I don't think it was a whole lot of him. It was really Giannis got hurt, and then he missed all those free throws, and someone had to take the blame, and they can't fire Giannis. So there goes the coach, which is pretty crazy because I think if you ask most NBA fans what you think about him, I would say most people would think they're like, wow, he think he's a top 10 or top 12 coach. Some might think, top 5, top 6. But we'll see how he does in his next destination. And even if he has to be an assistant on another team like the Lakers or Warriors, you don't think that they would add a piece like that? He could always coach for another shit team, or maybe be, like an assistant, assistant head coach somewhere else or whatnot, whatever label they give him. And then we'll see him again. Matt in the building. How are you? Sarah with a tenor, getting us started off on a good note, and that's important. First 20 minutes, bang, 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 boom, 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 bang, bang. Cactus Jack approves. Appreciate you. 10 Dara Hara. Let's get to a hundo. 90 to go. Anything specifically you want to see? Any like past or present hockey players or anything that you want to do? It doesn't have to be hockey related. We can do whatever. Right now, it's still 3-2 Florida. The Panthers are up on the Maple Leafs. 4:20 left in the third period. Florida's up 1-0. So shit, if Florida can do it, right, why can't Seattle? I mean, that's what and I think the more and more Florida and Seattle keep winning on the road and keep like impressing, they beat Boston. We beat Colorado. It means something. So it's like, yeah, we know that they're the underdogs still, but I mean, who's playing better hockey right now? And I think that if you ask most people, you would say Florida and Seattle in their series, they're playing better, but sometimes that doesn't equate to wins every single game. So Right. But at this point, the way that Seattle feels, it does feel like a championship caliber team. Yeah, there was a lot of goals that were given up, and we already know, it's going to be very difficult to win any game moving forward, let alone win the series. But if there's somehow, some way we get past Dallas, what do you think the perception is? Let's try to go all the way. Will we get there? Who knows? If we go to the Stanley Cup at that point and we keep winning and we lose and get swept, I mean, it's a lot further than anyone ever thought. So we don't know how far the run is going to go for a team like Florida and Seattle, and maybe it'll end, shortly, for both of our teams or one of our teams. But there's also a chance that, miracle stuff can happen. And since this is kind of a weird year where a lot of the, higher labeled teams are choking or losing, or is it just the lower seeds are playing better hockey or more inspired play? And it's also the same way on the NBA side. So is it just like, okay, the guys that are the top dogs, are they just getting a little bit too much love in pub because of who they are and their name and their history? But in reality, the lower team is better, and they've proven it. So it might be a little bit of a combination of both. Maybe the higher seed getting a little cocky and confident, but also Florida and Seattle have been playing some of the best hockey as we went into the end of the regular season and then went into the playoffs. So obviously that Uncle momentum hasn't left. And if you feel that you're either fans of either team, Panthers or Kraken, if you feel good, especially if you're a Seattle fan and you're watching right now like myself, and I see there's 2:15 left and they're up 3-2, even if it goes into OT, you feel that like you have a good chance that you could still win it. It's not like, oh, you completely lost all the momentum and all hope. It just kind of feels that, there could be a miracle here from Toronto, but it feels like Florida is going to win. And if they can go up 2-0, not saying Seattle will, but it definitely gives you hope that, hey, if they can do it, why not us? It's a cool feeling when you have that in sports. It's very rare. Yeah, but also too, let's be honest, an expansion team never makes the playoffs in the first year because they don't have enough talent. It's let alone chemistry, talent, rookies, and then you're plucking players from other teams to make an expansion team. So no one expects, a team to even get a wild card or, just to even make the playoffs in an expansion year. Like if any team ever makes it, they obviously had an incredible draft where like players that were plucked were better than advertised, and you have like maybe many superstars, but there's obviously limits when they do these like expansion team, drafts, and they build a team. So what Seattle is doing in the second year is mind-blowing because like I said, most teams that are expansion teams, same thing goes even on the NFL side, besides like the Jacksonville Jaguars with Brunell, they made an AFC championship game and it was like the second year, third year. So when you do something like that, it's like kind of, eyebrow raising, it's crazy, but this Seattle team seems for real. And I just don't know when the juice is going to run out. Like it almost feels even stronger than the Mariners last year. And I watched every Mariner game and I felt the vibe with Julio. It just feels like a very well-rounded, confident team. Many guys can score. We know the goalie, whatever, if they have Gru, it just seems like, yeah, there's going to be games where he plays like shit or the other team plays great, but you believe in him. And I think just the belief factor and, just believing in each other and knowing that, it's not just because we're new, but we are one of the most together teams. And I feel you can tell when teams play with each other, on the ice and you just feel the connection, game in and game out, that they're a little bit different than some of the other teams. Like nothing is too much for them. And then you get that from a lot of the championship caliber teams like the Avalanche and Tampa Bay Lightning last year. It's very rare to have it be like Florida and Seattle give you these kind of championship vibes. But I feel that if you can get past Dallas, why not, you're going to be humble anyway, and you're going to be excited. But I feel if you can get past Colorado and you can get past Dallas, and if you can do it like in a very like dominant fashion, not saying that they're going to sweep or hell, we're going to win today, but what just, for example, if they ended up beating Dallas in 5 and it was like, oh my God, wow. It's like, how the hell did that happen? Then who's to say that they can't keep going? You know what I mean? Some point the luck is going to run out, and obviously the best team is going to be able to find that momentum. But I mean, does anyone not think Florida can't win this series? I think most people are like, the way they played against Boston, even though they're the underdog, they almost feel like even if they were going to lose this first game, it just felt like they might be able to do it. Like, I don't think it's that much of a stretch. I haven't felt that way about underdogs in a while. And the same way I feel about Seattle, I feel about Florida too. Yes, absolutely. Oh, well, one team. But let's be honest, okay? You know, like, it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like expansion teams, it's very rare in any sport. See, he said fluke. Oh. Yeah, Fleury's awesome. 2-0 lead. Florida wins. Now they get chippy. How far did the Golden Knights go in year one? They went to the playoffs and they got eliminated in the first round. How far did they go? In the very first year. Because I mean, even if you go to the second year, right, and you make it to like, you know, the runner-up game, like, you know, Jaguars did an AFC championship, that's like mind-blowing to think that they had enough talent that they were able to. I mean, it's one thing to get to the playoffs and maybe win like one round or one game, but to win multiple rounds as a brand new team, that's not that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with the competition, you know, in the rest of the league. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of parity, but regardless if it's baseball, basketball, you know, football or hockey, yeah, it might have happened a few times, you know, first year, second year, but you don't expect them to really go far. If you get there, you get there. But I mean, if you have actually, you know, luck and you beat multiple opponents, I mean, it's just so crazy. Stanley Cup lost to 5 to Washington. So yeah, they made history then. 29-13-4. Whoa. 927 save percentage? No way. Wow. Yeah. Well, obviously, if you don't have like an elite goalie, and like that's, you know, if you go back since like 1980 to 2023 and you look at goalie play, you know, even with guys like Gretzky and Lemieux and Brett Hull and, the elites and whatnot, yeah, you definitely have to be able to have someone that can hold it down, but that's insane. That's insane. 927. That's crazy. All right, so this matchup is done. Florida is up 2-0. Why not Seattle? Hell, if Florida can do it, why not us? But one thing we do need to be able to remember, too, for Dallas, let's not have 4 goals be scored today for Joe. Can we make that happen? And like I said, just the way that sports is, you know, normally after a team that's favored loses game 1, you know, 90% of the time they win game 2. If you just go back in like history, yeah, I mean, is it possible Seattle goes up 2-0 just like Florida? For sure. I'm hoping so. But I mean, we'll see what kind of momentum. But normally, you know, based off history, usually it's like 80-90% chance where the better team supposedly is at home for 2 games. They lose game 1 in dramatic fashion, and then maybe they'll be able to find a way to, you know, win game 2 and go 1-1. But the way that Seattle's been playing, I'm hoping that we say fuck history, right? If Florida's breaking history, you know, beating Boston, why the fuck not us, man? Like, why not? So I'm hoping that we can fight the adversity, and, you know, they're going to bring their best, and hopefully we bring ours. And at the very end, even if we only win by 1, who cares? We'll take the dub any way that we can go. And especially going 2-0 after they were dominant in the regular season. They weren't very good. Seattle was not very good against Dallas in the regular season. And if you can find a way to go up 2-0 in their building and then come back to Seattle, the vibe will be very special, to say the least. I'm ready. Let's go. But really what it's going to come down to is Gru, because the better that he does, the further Seattle is going to go. Because at one point or another, once he starts struggling, and if he starts giving up, you know, 3 to 4 goals in consecutive games, and we're not getting the offense, and that's the end of Seattle. But, you know, if Seattle can keep kind of the momentum with each guy, like it's not really the same guy, you know, pretty much every matchup. You know who you're probably going to get production from, but it could be Oliver, and then maybe Maddie, and then maybe Jordan. So it goes around. There's plenty of people that can make a difference. So, in Dave we trust. Let's go. I'm ready. Break history. Why not? Let's go up 2-0. Let's be electric. Pre-game vibes, post-game vibes. Let's go. Yeah, the crazy, crazy stuff. But it sounds like, if you had one, and at that particular year, what was the goaltender ranked? What was Fleury ranked as far as like 1 through 5? Like, based off that season, was he ranked like number 1 or number 2 goalie that particular year? I mean, that'll do it. And then another stat, Vegas never missed the playoffs until last year. I think Austin Matthews is everyone's guy, regardless if you know hockey or not, like if you're looking for excitement. But that kind of is crazy to think that he might be recognized as one of the best in the world. And they got a couple guys on that team, but Florida's finding a way. It's that momentum. Momentum, though, right? Like I said, we see it on the NBA. We see it in Major League Baseball. We see it in football. And in hockey, sometimes I feel that the Uncle Mo, the momentum lasts longer. Instead of it being like a period or a quarter like in football, it sometimes lasts a game or games where you just feel the energy. I don't know. At least that's kind of how I feel. And you can tell with, teams being aggressive, what teams are believing in each other. But the bottom line is, with the amount of shots on goal, if you don't have a top 10 goalie, or if you, don't have a top 10 goalie type of play, like let's say the guy normally isn't ranked in the top 10, but in the playoffs, he's played like a top 5 or top 10 goalie. You need that. Obviously, with too many shots on goal, you got to have your offense be aggressive. But I like the way that Florida and Seattle have been playing, and who knows how far they go. No Colorado, no Boston. It's kind of open. Preston's in the building. How are you? It's been a fun series. And it's crazy to see like the game kind of play out the way that it did. So since we got 4 goals out of Joe, I mean, what are we thinking today for Jason? Are we thinking Jason gets on the board at least once today? Pretty rare for him not to have at least one, but we will see. But as long as we're not giving up 4, but I mean, even though we found a way to get the dub in OT, should be exciting. I'm ready. I am ready, baby. I mentioned last series, game 5, when they dipped in, gave all the momentum right back. We pointed out. What do you want to see for a photo, Sarah? You got a particular legend, either now, current, or from the past that you want me to throw up before the matchup starts here for your dono? We're at what, 10, 90 to go? But it's nice though to be able to have like Odin's son and Sarah and a few of y'all like Dusk and whatnot, because it's like I if I'm gonna really get into something, it's nice to be able to have people that you can watch it with and appreciate it. And like I said, not everyone's gonna be a hockey fan, a NASCAR fan, or a baseball fan. That's more of a niche thing. It's much easier to follow like wrestling or football. I get that. And I think if the NBA product was better, maybe I would lean towards that. But me living in the Pacific Northwest and having the Kraken be on, yes, I know the Lakers Warriors is a big game, but I mean, I think this is huge, not only for the Pacific Northwesterners out here, for us in Oregon and Washington. I feel that this is a part of history that NHL fans and Kraken fans will never forget. Even if we lose this series, just to be able to have this type of success, it brings a lot of excitement moving forward. Same thing with the Mariners when we broke the playoff drought of 21 years. And then with Julio found a way to win Rookie of the Year. And then now there's belief that we can be, one of the successful teams moving forward. And the same thing goes for the Kraken, except on the Kraken side, it feels like they're better than the Mariners. Like it just feels like they can go further and they're a better team even at this young stage of their existence. So I'm very excited to see what they have in their future, and hopefully one day Seattle will be holding the Stanley Cup, and being a champ one day, before I get too old would be very awesome. But definitely have to make myself up to Seattle, and I know my friend Justin will go, because like I said, we follow pretty much everything the same. The only difference is for the NFL teams, but Blazers, Ducks, wrestling, and then obviously Mariners, and then Kraken. But he doesn't watch it like on a regular basis. I mean, he's more of like one of those people that'll just kind of tap in and see. But the better that we do, we'll see what happens. Preston's got a prediction. Oh, this is going to be very intense. And it's kind of cool also. Oh, baby! Let's go! He's hitting him with the WWE, the AEW, the WCW. Oh, boy, had it like my wrestling figure here with like Luke or Butch with Hogan. He had him in the move. Is that what's going on already? I just put him in that position like a half hour ago. I didn't know we were actually going to have some fisticuffs here. I don't really see a lot of punches thrown, though. Puts him in the headlock. Be pretty early to start going like bashing his face in on the ice within the first minute. But especially when they thought, hey, we should have won game one. They're trying to set the tone, I guess. The Mariners are not nice this year. For you to say that they're nice this year means to me that you haven't watched them play at all this year, because they have not been. Dude, I've even gone to Seattle and watched them play against the Cardinals. Bro, our pitching is not that good. The hitting is atrocious. And a lot of the players are hitting under 250. We don't look good. I mean, beating the A's, they're like the worst team in fucking sports. If you can't beat them, you don't even deserve to have a fucking team. So, yeah, can we end up being better by June or July? We hope so. We hope we can get to 90 wins. But the team has been bootios. I mean, if anyone that's actually watched games would know that, bro. Come on. They've been terrible. Based off what we did last year, the standards and, the belief is that we'd be a little bit better. And even with Robbie Ray getting injured, still, I mean, it's like he only had a start and then got hurt, so we didn't really miss him that much. But DH has been fucking terrible. 7, 8, 9 hole is normally terrible, but Colton Wong and a few others and JP Crawford have been okay. Julio's numbers are way below acceptable numbers from winning Rookie of the Year. But we know that Suarez and Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh, and a few others, we'll get it together. Teoscar Hernandez, but yeah, we're not that good. But we hope that we can get to the playoffs. 2 shots on goal for the Stars. We're on a 4-on-4 with that penalty. 18:05 left in the first period. Let's go. John's in the building. How are you, John? And I like the energy in playoff hockey more than playoff NBA, because I hear the fans, I hear the chanting. It just feels, I mean, I get it. Every, sporting event, especially if the home team is getting their ass kicked, you get a little quiet. You're a little sad. You're not really full energy. But I just feel like the more of the chanting, the clapping, the rooting, hitting on the glass, just, fist pumping, just getting kind of more energy, you just get a lot more person for person. NHL is like an NFL. You get that passion. NBA and MLB, it's a little bit more reserved. And I want to be where the emotion is. So that's like NFL, college football, NHL, wrestling. Because that just makes the event better. No one wants to have everyone sitting on their hands and being quiet. It's playoffs. Playoffs? 3 shots on goal for Dallas on this 4-on-4. Seattle with only 1. Nothing really too set to start off, but we'll see. 5-4 Seattle win in game 1. All right, 4-on-4 has ended. Preston, how long have you been a Dallas fan for? Ooh. Oh, good save.
Pretty noticeable as well in game one, looking dangerous here, making sure he's setting himself up in a great shooting spot on that last shot on
Ottinger. I might be a Kraken fan, but I can't be a hater towards Ottinger. We got to make sure we get a nice one.
The ruling for the linesman was that he was not involved in the play. It was already coming off. Face-off just goes to Dallas.
Can we get one of Jake?
One element. Donato just had a great stick on that last play. Just intercept the play, interrupt the
All
flow
right.
that Dallas is trying to create. But think about potential keys to the game. And for Dallas, really their face-offs have been so strong. And they've led by
there you go. I'll even hit you with your logo.
in the playoffs. So Dallas is best in the league in playoffs so far. So almost 55%.
Who will have the better day? That is the real question. Still knotted up at 0, 15:40 left in the first period. Seattle leads 1-0. 3 shots on goal for Dallas, 1 for Seattle. Seattle has been pretty aggressive, even though they haven't been able to get too many shots on goal this early. Come on, Kraken.
Dallas only made 2 moves in the trade deadline this year, Domi and Donato. Morgan fires straight on easy save for Ottinger.
He shot that from pretty deep. Oh, good stop. He said, since I was born, you just came out of the womb. He said, wah, wah, Dallas. Oh, you're born in Plano? Nice. Oh! $50-45 Warriors. Figured that they would bounce back from that game 1 loss. Good series, though. Like I said, you don't even have to be an NBA fan to enjoy that one. I mean, it's watchable. It's not like some of the other matchups where it's a little more difficult. I mean, especially with LeBron's career, that's going to be coming to an end pretty soon. So, soaking that in, and then obviously Steph, Clay, and Draymond. That's going to be an easy watch for any basketball fan. It's probably the easiest team to watch, even if you know nothing about the NBA. All right, Sarah, what do you want for pictures here while we go to commercial break? You have any past or present? I'm not sure if you wrote something down. I'm scrolling up, but if you have someone that you want me to throw up for your donation, I will do that. So if you want to type that in, I would appreciate that, and I'll put that up for you. Braun going to the Mavs, not a chance. Not a chance. Yes, let's do some Mario Lemieux. He was one of my favorites. I know that Gretzky got all the love, but sometimes it's that second guy, that you admire more. It's like everyone was a Gretzky fan, and, it's like we understand how great. It's like Michael Jordan. But sometimes if you're a Michael Jordan guy, you can still have love for Magic Johnson or Larry Bird, and I'm a Larry Bird guy. I always loved Larry, thought that he was so underrated, and even to be Caucasian and to be able to play with the brothers back then that dominated the league. But Larry was such an incredible passer. And without him and Robert Parrish and obviously Kevin McHale and the rest of the crew, they wouldn't have been able to have that success against, Magic Johnson in that Lake show. We got Cyberpunk with a dono. I'm not sure if he's in the building or not, but thank you so much. Cyberpunk is helping the cause. $50 dono. Let's go, baby. The number one supporter to the NWSF. Oh, bang, bang, bang. $50 holla. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. $50 holla. Cyberpunk, thank you. I appreciate you. You are the man. Ooh, new photo. Hey, he went to jail, right? He went to jail, and he's been doing this like sexual misconduct, like being overly aggressive, trying to kiss girls and like grab them and act like, just because he's like on TikTok and he's Patrick Mahomes' brother, that he can get away with anything. He's trying to be like the modern day Vince McMahon. But guess what? Not only are you going to get turned down, which he's been turned down a lot, right? When stuff that we've seen that's gone viral where he thinks like he's just going to get any girl's number or no girl's going to turn him down and he gets embarrassed. I mean, the guy needs to figure it out, but I don't know if he ever will, especially if you have a brother named Patrick Mahomes, feeling that type of way. But I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened sooner. When I saw that he got arrested, I was like, well, he's been doing shit for the last couple of years. Why now? And it seems like a lot of restaurants and bars complain because he's harassing either the staff or the people that are in there, either verbally or physically. So I guess he's like a Vince McMahon. But we'll definitely get some Mario Lemieux up here in just 1 second. Appreciate you, Cyberpunk. Thank you, bro. Yeah, and plus you need to be able to pair up Luka with someone that's not a me person, a me guy like Kyrie. We know Kyrie is great, one-on-one, and he's, a Hall of Fame type of player, but he's like a me player, like a lot of these guys in the league, and they don't really make a lot of people better, and Luka wasn't happy with him. I mean, it sounds great on paper until you actually don't have him play, or he sits out due to load management, or he's got a pinky injured and normally he'd play, but he's like, no, or he thinks the earth is flat, or he wants to argue with your teammates. It's just like sometimes like Kevin Durant and Kyrie's, they're not worth it. We know that they can be top 10 players and people buy their shoes, but that doesn't mean that they're great teammates and make other players better. And that's kind of how I feel. But I will give Kyrie the love that if Kyrie wasn't on the Cavs when LeBron went back, they wouldn't have won the championship. That was Kyrie. Kyrie making that game-winning shot. If it wasn't for him being there, LeBron doesn't get that ring. And that is facts. But not a big Kyrie guy. I don't like the me players. Yes, much appreciated. We missed you, bro. And that's funny that you made that the photo. I figured someone would on the Chiefs side. The video sealed it. I mean, how many videos? There's been videos. Right? I watch and read a lot of sports, and I keep track of everything in pop culture and everything. But like I said, even if I'm like, watching the Blazers and I follow, a lot of teams, I'm not oblivious to seeing what's going on. And Cuban is one of the best owners in sports. Yes, he's a little eccentric, but he's incredibly intelligent, and he's good for the game. He's actually a guy that, wants to be there and is actually watching the team. He's not just some old guy that's like in the suite in the box and never, hangs out with the players. Like he might be the most like player owner, like accessible, like relationship of being like a cool guy in sports. So you don't really see a whole lot of the owners, have that much passion and love. And he knows he's making money. He knows he's a mogul, but he like really does have a thing with the players where he wants to get to know them. Obviously treats the ones that he likes like royalty, like Dirk and Luka, which he should. Right. But I know some people don't like him. I've always liked him. I thought that, at some point or another, you knew that he was going to be able to win a championship one way or another. At least it felt that he would. But Luka needs better players than like a Kyrie. That's facts. players back in the day made other players better. Nowadays, it's more about, Instagram, Twitter, individual accomplishments. The assists and the rebounds don't mean as much as they did back in the day, where you're making other people better. Everyone's just trying to get a big fucking stat line for themselves. How many fucking 30, 40, 50, 60-point games, how many threes you can get. Can you get 10? It's just, and then when you get guys that do triple doubles all the time, we take it for granted. So anything that the Joker does or LeBron, we yawn at it. We're like, oh, LeBron, 25, 15, and 19. But we're like, it's not like as big of a deal as it should be because we've just seen it too often from those players. That's the sad part. But I'll get the Mario Lemieux up here pretty soon. And then what do you want me to put up for you, Cyberpunk? I would assume you don't want me to put Patrick Mahomes' brother on the screen, but I will if you want me to. There we go. See, that's good. We like to get to know the new people that come through here. We appreciate you. Plus, like I said, there's not a lot of times where you can go to like a visitor stream and then, they pull up photos and actually try to be accommodating, Just want to be able to have it for both. Show the appreciation for both. $9:50 to go in the first period. 5 shots on goal for the Stars, 2 for Seattle. Really haven't gotten to a rhythm just yet. And then it's 57-50, Warriors up by 7 at home, trying to make up for that loss that they had in game 1. But again, Anthony Davis normally isn't going to go for 30 and 24 off like a lot of rest. So to act like he's going to do that every game isn't going to happen. So, I mean, if you're the Warriors and you're pissed off at Jordan Poole not being able to shoot and always staring at Jessica Alba or any baddie in the front row, of course, that's going to happen. He actually plays better when the better-looking women end up in the front row, celebrity-wise or not. But at some point, you just can't be all about me. You got to be able to give it to the person that's going to actually make the shot, and more than likely that'll be Steph or Clay rather than Poole, even though Poole has been pretty good, since obviously last year or two. He's improved dramatically. Come on, Seattle. Here we go. Oh, pass it behind him. I feel like, in this first period, we're going to get a goal within the next 4 minutes, it feels like. It's like we're not going to go this whole first period at a 0-0. There's got to be a couple really good opportunities here. And the crowd is kind of getting antsy now. Kraken fans, Dallas fans are like, all right, we've already watched quite a bit here. Half of the first period been done. Let's go. And I appreciate that. So not only do I get to know you and remember, then other people in the room will remember as well. CA in the building. How are you? You're back. It's just kind of cool to be able to be like passionate about many things. So like when one season ends, you're not miserable. And if you're just an NFL fan or a college football fan and that's it, that's got to be a little depressing not to be able to invest in anything else, especially when it doesn't last year round like wrestling, where you're just like waiting. And then if the team isn't very good, like that could be bad for the mental health. That could be like excessive drinking and like being sad too much, but I mean, even if the team is good, it's like, you got to be able to have something else than your primary. And I feel if you do, then, that you're going to have a better life overall. So it's like, boom, I got NFL, got college football. Then we got wrestling weekly. So I never get too down, knowing that I got AEW and WWE or NJPW or ROH. And then, after football's over, boom, we get baseball and a little bit of NASCAR, NHL's going on. So you just got to keep yourself busy. Yeah, anyone can put in, who they root for and whatnot. Let's get the Mario Lemieux up here for Sarah, and I'll get something for Cyberpunk as well. And I really enjoy being able to meet new people, especially when I do NASCAR or MLB and now NHL. It's just nice to be able to have that connection with people. It's like, you might be able to find someone that doesn't watch the other things, but they really are into this or other teams. And then you meet those people and you have that vibe. So I got to hit you with the Sidney Crosby though. If we're hitting if we're going that route too.
Welcome back to Dallas. Now tell me, why is Jake Ottinger so good at bouncing back from losses? He's done it throughout his career.
Yeah, everyone talks about the physical tools, 6'5", 225, but for me, his biggest asset is his mental.
I'll get you a few more here in a moment.
Competitive. He's a gamer. He understands the importance of response when we have an off night.
Oh, really?
Kind of a low event start to this game. Who have you thought every team performs this far?
Yeah, they're a tough team to get some momentum on. They skate well, they move pucks. This isn't going to be a high event series. We're going to have to grind. Next time.
Thank you, Cyberpunk. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sarah. 7:40 left in the first period. 5 shots on goal for the Stars, 3 for the Kraken. Oh, and did you want me to put that photo up there, Megan? Did you show it? Did you send it to Sarah already or no? That's what I was saying. Thank you for. All right, let me see if I can. I'll minimize this. Okay, so I'm minimizing it, and then I'm going to send it to Sarah on Twitter, and then I can pull it up here. All right, here, boom. Got to reformat it, and then I can pull from there. 6:40 left. Still knotted up at 0. But here's Megan's jersey. A little custom.
Seen a couple different looks by Seattle as they think about their offensive approach. You see some Rick wide passes. They're also making the read. You don't have the support coming with you in numbers. You just get it deep. And this is what they're so good at systematically. When the puck is down there, you apply the pressure.
All right, here we go.
Players in on the puck, and that creates some confusion and often leads to some of those
I like it.
turnovers that
I like it.
Seattle is so effective at.
He'd be proud. I wonder how many people actually have the coach. I mean, I bet you there's a few, but not a lot. It's definitely going to be a custom piece, and you'll probably be the only one in Australia with one. I'll tell you that. Come on, Kraken. 3 shots on goal is way too little. I mean, obviously a complete opposite from the 6 goals given up in the first period in game number 1. But you already know that they will come in flashes, and the score could still end up being 4-3 at the end of the matchup. Oh, yeah. Well, I would say 9% of Kraken fans are going to have players. It's just that extra, 1% that's looking for something unique and different. It's like with the Dodgers, like some people are going to get the Kershaw or the Sandy Koufax or whoever the main players are, the Freddie Freemans, the Mookie Betts. But then some people will be like you or like my dad that'll be like, oh, we'll do like the Vin Scully, and then they'll have like the custom Vin Scully jersey as a giveaway, or they'll do Scully, custom in the back and whatnot. And that's cool. You know what I mean? Just doing something a little odd and different that it makes it original, where you might not be the only one, but you're going to be in a very small percentage that has the kind of unique jersey. And I'm that way too, so. All right, with 6 minutes left in the first period, Seattle's getting closer to shots on goal, 5-4 now. Good defense there by Grew. And Dallas is ready to explode, and Seattle is ready to hush the crowd. So I'm hoping that we can find a way to get, I don't really necessarily need a cheap deflection or whatnot, but And also, we can't get into a power play here in the last 5 minutes either. Come on, Maddie. Here we go. Seattle just needs to be a little bit more aggressive so we can get a few more shots on goal here. There we go. Nice job by Vince. But I'll get some more photos for Sarah with some more Mario Lemieux and Cyberpunk. If you have anything specific you want me to throw up, I can do that at the intermission here. We can do some old school wrestlers. I mean, that's kind of what we do. And I ended up bringing some more of my wrestling figures from the 80s and the early 90s in here. I have so many figures. It's ridiculous. I think I have like 20 on my desk, either behind me or like in front of me, whether they're starting lineups or bobbleheads or Mariner giveaways. I got the Griffey statue and the Edgar Martinez statue. My dad did real good for my birthday too. He's always finding me cool Griffey stuff that I don't have, or old wrestling stuff, like WWF figures from like the 80s and 90s, or like G.I. Joes, Transformers, Ghostbusters, just all the dope shit in the 80s that's like undefeated. All right, let's go and grab some photos here for the people that have donated. So we'll do the Mario Lemieux. And then if Cyberpunk has something, I can do that as well. That was a special time back then. Yarmir Yager. So much time played on Sega Genesis. You have no idea. Sega and PlayStation, I can't even tell you how many hours I put in. And it's funny too, because maybe we didn't watch like as many games as other people, but we felt like we knew. I mean, if you're playing a lot on the video game side, you learn a lot. I feel like the people that actually played college football and put the names in, or if you ended up playing one of the games like FIFA or NHL or NBA 2K or NBA Live or Madden, and you play a lot, like it's kind of impossible not to remember the names that you're going against, and whether you recognize it or not, you end up getting pretty smart, based off that if you just retain the info. I mean, that was that way with me with sports cards and whatnot, looking at the stats when I was at like 5 years old.
Pods handles the driving. Pack at your pace, store your things until you're ready, then we deliver to your new home, across town or across the country.
Oh, that sounds great.
Personal moving and storage team.
67-56 Warriors are up. No surprise there. One of my good buddies is a Warrior fan, and I told him I know that first loss hurt, but when you have a team like the Lakers that have been very hot to go from 13th in the West out of the playoffs and then to where they are now, and beating the Grizzlies with Dylan Brooks being a fucking idiot and John Morant just never stopping his mouth and always yapping, that they were kind of like the public enemy number one. We got rid of them. Lakers, played like a team. They got the win, and they're confident. It's going to be a tough series, but it should go 6 or 7. But I would assume Warrior fans, this is a must win for them. You don't want to go to LA down 2-0 because then you legitimately could lose the series. Uh-oh. Delay a game. Fuck. Oh, no. John's in the building. CA's in the building. Elliot's in the building. Appreciate you guys. 4:16 left. And it's kind of crazy, though, how sometimes just, how much someone else loves something, will inspire me to really get invested. And I've never been this invested in hockey since I was like a little kid, to be honest. And it feels good. It's like I'm tapping back in to something that really meant a lot to me when I was younger. Same thing with NASCAR when, Dale Earnhardt was driving, it was just a different time. And I did the whole Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, era with Tony Stewart and Dale Jr. But, there was a little time that was taken away and it was more towards wrestling and football and baseball. But it just feels good to kind of be back on those things again that are in my life. And I really do appreciate it and I care. It's not really a track that I won't watch for NASCAR. And there's not a matchup that I'm like, well, obviously Seattle will be my favorite to watch, but it's like I can watch anybody play in the playoffs, and I know I'm going to be entertained. I mean, just look how many 7-game series we've had already, on the NBA side and the NHL side. It's been special. Come on, Seattle. We can make sure that they don't take advantage here. Nice block. Good job, Grew. All right, 50 seconds left on the power play. 3:05 left in the first period. 6 shots on goal for Dallas. Seattle's only 2 behind, but it just seems like they're really spread out. I mean, like 1 shot every 5 minutes ain't gonna cut it. It's hard to get momentum when you're doing that. See, I missed this on my birthday when you weren't here. "25 seconds left with the power play. Come on, Seattle, hang on." Deep shot. Stuffed. Oh, wow. How fast was that? Oh, stop it. Get it out of there. There we go. That was close. And the power play ends. Good job, Grew. Let's go. That could have easily been 1-0. Oh, let's go. Good job, Phillip. Electric, baby. Oh. Come on, Seattle. There we go. Come on. Finish strong in this period. Maybe we can get one good shot here. One good shot in the last minute 50. Otherwise, we're going to have the 0-0 and just wait till the second period. Come on, baby. Big hit. He said, "Sit down." Yeah, he dropped. He didn't even contest it. He just kind of looked up. He's like, "Oh, fuck, okay." Wasn't as big as that other hit that we had, though, in Game 7? That one was fucking crazy. Anytime I see someone's chin going to someone's shoulder or fist going to a shoulder or chin going into a fist, man, minute to go. Oh, for Toronto? Well, Florida has been hot, just like Seattle. And, if you can beat Boston, who's the best team, most points, best record, and you can beat them, then you can beat anyone in your mind. And they that momentum, and they're confident, they believe. So for them to go up 2-0 to Toronto, I know for Toronto probably thought, no way that's happening. But you have to, show some respect. If you can go in there and beat Boston, and we can go in there and beat Colorado, doesn't matter if it went 7, you won. Who's to say that we can't come out on top in this series? And Florida might even be more confident than Seattle. I mean, at this point, since they're 2-0. I mean, nothing is over. You still got to be able to complete the mission, but always a good start when you can win games on the road like that. No, and that's why I've always, been a Mariner fan with Griffey, back in the day when I was 5. And then Blazers because I live here in Oregon and not the Sonics necessarily, and then Ducks for my football. So I never had, we have Portland Winterhawks, which is kind of like the, like the WHL, and it's like the lower league, like AAA in baseball kind of comparison. But we never had the pro team. And if we had a pro team in Portland, that would have been my team back in the day. But I didn't follow the Winterhawks on a season-to-season basis to really care enough. And then I never had a particular favorite player in hockey. I played a lot of the video games and whatnot, but I didn't want to inherit someone's, greatness and just hop on a bandwagon. And so maybe the timing is just right for Seattle to finally have a team here in the Pacific Northwest and to be able to go that route. So. Oh, yeah. 0-0 end of the first period. All right, so we need to get some photos up here for Sarah and for Cyberpunk. Still knotted up at 0.
The Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. Earn 2% cash back.
Milwaukee needs a team.
Like a vintage turntable. So you can
I'm not sure if people in Wisconsin can go through that much pain and agony. I mean, there's a lot of pain and agony if you're rooting for teams in Wisconsin, with the Packers or the Bucks. It just seems like there's always something. And we have a lot of fans that are from that area that will come through on here. And, it's very hard to be happy with the teams, whether it's the Badgers, the Bucks. Brewers, you can be pretty happy with what they're doing. I mean, at one point they were the best. Now the Pirates, I think, passed them in the division, but they're both playing great baseball right now. So
I know everything about my new furniture business. Well, everything except the whole business part. Not anymore. With QuickBooks, you can confidently manage your business.
And then Cyberpunk, you still in the room, bro?
Yeah. Success starts with Intuit QuickBooks.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the only thing, I kind of feel a little sorry, but it's like, you can only complain so much about things if you already know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? If you already know how the team is, you can't just beat yourself up and get so fucking angry game in, game out, year in and year out. And everyone's going to have passion for their teams, but like I said, it's very rare where you're going to be a fan of like 4 teams and all 4 are going to be good all in the same year. It just very rarely happens. I mean, sometimes you only have 1 out of the 4 that's worth a damn. And I guess sometimes people can't handle that, But like with the Packers, if you only had 1 with Favre and 1 with Rodgers, I mean, do you really expect that you're going to win it every year? Maybe Packer fans do, but I mean, realistically, you just know, if you're championship caliber or if you're not. So, but it is cool to see the Brewers having success. They were kind of on the cusp like Seattle, and then towards the end of the season just weren't good enough to make the playoffs. And then they came out really strong this year. I've actually done quite a few Brewer games, and they played really, really well.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
We saved a lot. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
All right, it's first period, little intermission. So we're just throwing up some cool photos from the people that have donated. Bart Starr. Well, yeah. And obviously the Packers not having an actual legitimate owner, I feel is a big problem. When you have like a board and Kuntz and you just have a board meeting and say, I'm going to do this. And then they just nod their head and be like, okay. I mean, that's going to cause problems. And that's a big reason why you only won 1 with Favre and 1 with Rodgers. Things needed to be better. Obviously getting Rodgers more weapons would have been ideal instead of Jordan Love, but also the defense, special teams was an issue. So, all right, Preston, sounds good.
No matter what you're building, get professional results with quick-read fast-setting concrete in a red bag. It sets hard in minutes. Find out more at quickread.com. Quickread, for over 70 years, it's what America's made of.
Lexington Division Report. See Bill Grubauer galloping into Texas wearing this hat. No, he's confident. Oh, he looked good, look good, play good.
Who?
You throw it 2 look good there. That's how I did it. Let's go with it.
Feel good's not that important. It's really look good, play good.
Yeah.
4-1 on the road. Seattle is. We got a 0-0 game after they took game 1. You plugged inside the studio. Liam Q, Paul Bissonnette, Hammer Conquist, Anson Carter, and for those who are just wondering how Seattle is getting this done, how they beat the champs in round 1, how they took game 1 here, what is it with this team? We do have a little bit of video here with our Lexus highlight.
All right, I'm going to go old school for Cyberpunk, whether he's in the room right now or busy. But he loves old school wrestling like me, 70s, 80s, 90s. So we'll throw up some old school stuff, and there'll be some people that he'll see. And if he wants to tap in on that and add a few.
It's almost impossible to play hockey this way.
We got time.
You want to create time and space for yourself, but there's no time and space out there. And they're not just closing gaps, they're taking the body too, so your face is up against the glass. So you can't even see the soft part of the ice to make those offensive zone plays.
Agreed. It comes down to discipline too. With the pace they play at, you think that maybe sometimes they get too over aggressive and they give up odd man rushes, but they're so good at not only being relentless on the attack, but staying in structure all the way down the ice. They rarely get outside the dots and make stupid plays to open up those seam passes to create those odd man rushes. So the way that Dallas can beat them, though, and I thought they had much more success towards the later part of the period, is getting sticky in the offensive zone. It's a term Talk uses all the time, where they get puck stopped and they really wear them down and slow down that speed of Seattle, where it ain't pretty hockey. It's working around, low to high, getting bodies in front, but they do have guys who have net front presence, especially with Pavelski back in the lineup. So, but just to compliment Seattle, all over the place, Hank, and they just refuse to stop moving their feet.
Yeah, you compare this game to the game we had earlier on tonight, where both teams were able to find the middle a lot more often. Now we're looking at two teams that control the middle.
All right, Cyber, you got anybody that you want to see? I know you got someone specific that you probably want to see some old school.
From Seattle. There's a lot of opportunities where Dallas came down and tried to shoot, and when you check a guy, obviously you want to go on their body, but you want to lead with a stick. So there's so many times to manage to take the body, and
Dusty,
the puck, which is critical when you play good defense. And you can see
knotted up at 0 during the intermission. Just trying to get some old school photos up.
Players that are kind of on their own program. No, they're sticking to their system. It's been working all year. So far.
You got anybody that you follow in hockey, Cyberpunk, or not really?
Identity. It's another thing if everyone understands it and actually embraces that identity. Seattle clearly does that. You take a look at them by the numbers. They get their first franchise playoff series win. They do it against the defending champions. 15 different goal scorers in this postseason, which is astounding. Of course, they do a future star, you'd have to say, Matty Beniers, who is a Calder Trophy finalist, probably going to win Rookie of the Year. But they also have experience here, right? They've got 4 guys that have hoisted the cup.
And you don't have
Road Warriors, baby.
5 players on this roster with Stanley Cup winning experience. That ties for Vegas Biz for the most in the postseason left over so far.
Yeah, you keep talking about the depth. And each of those players, there's no ego in that locker room. So each of these guys are going 40, 45-second hard, and they're leaving the position on the ice for the next man up to be in a good situation rather than maybe lazy changes on the back check. So that discipline trickles down through all the details of the game, including not overextending shifts and having the energy to maintain this pace in which they play at. So it's just highly impressive. They keep getting it done, and especially with the good goaltending now, they look very dangerous.
So we got a wild card team in round 2, looking to go 2-0 on the road. How about the last seed to get in this whole thing? We saw that the Florida Panthers, they take 2 on the road in Toronto. It's really just more of the madness that we saw in round 1, just carrying over tonight.
Unbelievable. The theater that is Stanley Cup playoffs, nothing beats it.
Hardcore Holly? Al Snow, absolutely. It's always good to be able to have some throwback memories. All right, Hardcore Holly. Is it Hardcore Holly? Crash Holly. So we got a few minutes. We'll throw up some old school wrestling photos.
I don't know what's just happened in the last 2 weeks. It's insane.
I found this RVD. I was like, oh shit.
Because it's powered by the most potent source of energy there is. You.
Let's go.
This is the Lexus variety of electrification. Inspired by, created for, and powered by you.
Like literally, no one has looked up a Hardcore Holly photo in like years. Like Google's like, we got some traction. Someone looked him up finally. Rainy and cloudy. Like I said, it was We had a thunderstorm late last night with some lightning and thunder, which was kind of cool. Like really extensive downpour for about 30 minutes, and then it went away. And then it was pretty gloomy until about, I don't know, probably about 4 o'clock. And then I decided to take my puppy for an hour walk, and we didn't get rained on and stuff. But I think starting tomorrow for the next 3 or 4 days, it's going to be kind of wet and rainy. So, but I always try to be able to, get out there and get that exercise for not only my mental health, but for, the puppy too. I'll hit you with some Al Snow. This is crazy. Like before Hardcore Holly was Hardcore Holly when he had hair, which only 1% of wrestling fans remember. Look at this. Hollywood Bob Holly. This is, almost at the end of the run, but he started off like that. Hollywood Bob Holly.
I chose my Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One because I earn unlimited 2% cash back on everything I buy. And with no preset spending limit, my purchasing power adapts to my business needs. What's in your wallet? How do you know you're the best unless you compete against the best? You can stand for your money and this changes everything. Trust anybody. Last one standing. Competition starts Sunday at 8 on Discovery. Central DVR.
Al Snow. Michael with a $5. I appreciate that. I do put up a lot of energy, not only in the streams, but to be able to, provide good information for people and not be biased. So that way people, want to actually have a conversation with someone that knows sports or wrestling. And then also if you're doing betting, that will definitely help. And like I said, history is meant to be broken, but it also tends to repeat itself. But I do appreciate that. There's a lot that goes on with this channel, and it's, a lot of hard work behind the scenes, but to be able to have something like that definitely makes me feel good to be recognized. And I appreciate you, man, very much. $5 holla from Michael. Bang, 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 boom, 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 bang, bang. Appreciate you. What would you like to see for a photo, Michael? You got someone in mind? NHL, past or present? Or it could be something else. It doesn't have to be hockey related. It could be wrestling, basketball, whatever you like. Let me know. Bang, bang. Is that your first donation to me ever?
How good was Philip Grubauer there in the first period, especially late on the
$65, 35 to go. And we're waiting on Michael to decide what photo he wants me to throw up for him. 82-64 Warriors layeth the smacketh down, but I think a lot of people knew that. And that's typically how it goes, when you lose game one and you get stunned. Typically, you're able to bounce back in game two if you're a good enough team, but apparently Toronto is not as good as people think, with Florida going up 2-0. I appreciate that. I usually remember who donates to me, how much, how often, if it's been their first time. It does mean a lot. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Let me know what you want to see for William Refrigerator Perry. Good choice. Let's do that. It's a very cool fun fact. Refrigerator Perry is one of only a few people that, were to be able to play sports, but then actually was a G.I. Joe figure. Just like Sergeant Slaughter was a WWF superstar, but Sergeant Slaughter was also on the G.I. Joe cartoon. And if you find that Refrigerator Perry G.I. Joe, it's actually a very collectible one. I'm a big G.I. Joe guy. I'm a big 80s toy guy. And pretty crazy to have someone as big as the fridge to be able to be a defensive player, but then they would actually use him running the football once in a while. And how the hell are you going to stop that? And the answer is you don't.
Let me be direct. You're doing TV wrong. You thought that other TV provider was good enough. Now what? You'll talk? You call this watching sports, Dan?
Food is yet better. So much in life is a compromise, but with #1 customer satisfaction, DirecTV never is. Now,
I always got to give you like the candid photo, something different, not just like the obvious. And then
get a $200 reward card.
imagine that running towards you. No thanks.
Five-hour energy got you through then.
Appreciate you very, very much.
We'll get you through again. Rediscover 5-hour energy.
Oh, yeah. He said the drippy. Yeah, and like I said, NBA used to be like my, favorite thing back in that era with like Jordan and Bird and Magic and that type of era, and then even going with the Kobe, Iverson, and Shaq era. But then after that, I just feel it is a little bit more difficult. And this is coming from someone that watches everything. Like I like all sports, but really the one that is not really on my priority list as much as college hoops and the NBA. Like I feel, like you said, that the last 5 minutes of a game, it gives you the most excitement, but it's hard to be able to watch everything from the first quarter up to that point because there is not the same type of excitement that you feel like an NFL game or NHL. Like it's the whole game and you're on edge. With the NBA, it's like you're kind of just watching, kind of like with baseball. You're not really having as much energy shown unless a team gets, multiple home runs, But even with like a basketball game, the crowd really doesn't go crazy unless a team goes on like a 15-0 run. And it's like, three-pointer after three-pointer or a guy gets hot. But normally it's like, kind of mellow until it gets to the end if the game is close. So I feel that you're not the only one. And like I said, I used to be able to watch, many, many NBA teams play in full games and love it. Now I do have a hard time. I mean, can I stream it? Can I do it? Of course. But if I, could do NHL and I'm actually going to love that rather than doing something that I don't love, but I'm just doing it just to get views or subs or donos or whatever. I want to be able to do things that I enjoy. So, and I find that to be true too. And also too much load management, too many soft players. Nobody plays defense. I'm a defensive guy as far as a fan, on the baseball side, the basketball side, the NFL side, and it's just like, it's not the same type of, NBA that I'm accustomed to. So yeah, I can watch some, but I like the NHL action more. He said he had to sell the Super Bowl ring. They got all the Niners there, even Joe Montana. Awesome. $84-66. Yeah, Lakers aren't coming back in this one. Because, I mean, when the lead gets that high, even if you're like, love the game, right? You start to like go on your phone, you're scrolling on Instagram or Twitter. You're not intently watching the game, from beginning, like it's already over. The lead is way too big. Yeah, the Lakers will have a run in the third or fourth quarter, but by that point, how many runs will the Warriors have? The same amount, one or two. And if you're already up by this much, I think even like hardcore fans are like, well, they're already fucking around playing video games or they're on their phone and they're not really paying attention with the same type of intensity. But with hockey, I mean, you're not really taking your eyes off the screen. But in the same respect, if the game is like 4-0, then, you're still watching, but it's not, it's a little bit different of a feel when the other team isn't going to be able to come back or let alone compete. All right, we're in the second period, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Preston's back. And I really do appreciate, the kind words, because I feel that, we are slept on. And if we actually got a proper recommendation like other sports channels, I feel that we would grow like wildfire. I think that, there would be a lot of people, young and old, girls and guys, that could vibe here and have a great time. I mean, but a lot of times when people have their favorites, they're not necessarily looking for someone new unless they're like, looking for a particular game and they find someone, doing like a live play-by-play and reactions or live reactions and whatnot. But I really have enjoyed the new people that I've been able to meet, on the hockey side for sure. Ottinger with the save.
You think about even this is a philosophy for the Kraken as well to make sure they got traffic in front of Ottinger.
I'll give some Dallas love, but not too much. Okay. We'll give, that's more than most places that are covering Seattle. Because if it's most Seattle channels, you get no coverage. You get no pictures, no love. Right? But here you do. It's good sports karma, not to be a hater. If you want good things to happen to your team, still got to show love for the greats. All right, come on, baby. I feel Gru will bounce back from yesterday, or not yesterday, but the day before yesterday when he gave up so many goals. We're getting a little scrappy out there. 12 shots on goal for the Stars, only 6 for Seattle. Thank God we're not down 1-0 or 2-0 at this point. Penalty, fuck. Interference, damn it. Yeah, anyone that's willing to show some love, it'd be greatly appreciated. I'm also live on Twitter, so people can watch there, but they can't comment or donate there. So you'll get the people on Twitter, on the Twitterverse, spying and checking us out. But, it would be nice to be able to convert some of those people that just watch on Twitter to come through on the YouTube side and whatnot. And it happens once in a while. But anyone that, can show some love. And it seems like we're getting a little bit more love on the baseball side and the hockey side. Obviously, and it's good too, because like I said, I did NASCAR last year and a little bit this year, but the views weren't really the same and they weren't really pushing the same way as last year. So it's kind of nice to have something to take over that, because I'm really trying to do as much as I can, like whatever the best event is, and then also to represent Northwest, sports, but all sports. It doesn't have to be just what's going on for like the Kraken or the Mariners or the Blazers or the Ducks, like a little bit of everything. Was that a flop? Dallas power play. Come on, Seattle. Oliva, Maddie, Jordan. Come on, baby. Keep doing it, Philip. We need you. We need you, Gru. Come on, baby. Let's go. I had to hit Joe on the thumb too. I was like, man, you got 4 goals, bro. I gotta put you on the next one. Yeah, but that's not going to be typical results just for anyone. Video games is a different world though too, with all the cosplay and the girls and video game stuff. When you're doing sports, it's much harder to grow. It's not as easy as people think. I've been doing this shit for fucking 11 years, and it took me 10 years to go full time to have enough people support me to be able to do it full time. So, 360 shot on one knee. Good effort on the power play. Still 0-0. 12 shots on goal for the Stars. 6 only for the Kraken. 17:40 left in the second period. 90-72. Warriors up on the Lakers. 5 minutes left in the third quarter, which that one is pretty much over. I'm just waiting for this first goal. Just hope it comes on Seattle's side and not Dallas's side. Playing from ahead will be much better than playing down in this game too, since, just based off history, typically, if Dallas is as good as they say they are, from the regular season and in general, then they shouldn't have what happened to Florida happen to them. When Florida was able to go up 2-0 on the road against Toronto. But hell, the way Seattle has been playing, why not? Why can't we? Oh, good save. Exactly. And that's totally true. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, unless you find me, that I'm not going to be biased at all. And that is 100% true. I feel that I am not biased at all. I'm going to tell it how I see it, and be realistic about it. I can help people win money and give them, honest takes, but it's so true. Like 99% of the stuff that's out there on channels or on TV or on podcasts is garbage. It's not good. Or they have people arguing and screaming, and it doesn't, just because you're loud doesn't mean you're correct, like Stephen A. So I do really appreciate you noticing that as well. I mean, of course, I'm not going to be right about everything, but I do take a lot of pride on being really, really good on a lot of different things. And that takes a lot of reading and film study behind the scenes, because I'm usually doing about 4 to 6 hours every day, not recording, but all the behind the scenes stuff to make sure that I'm keeping up with everything that's going on in the sports and wrestling world, as well as pop culture and everything that's going on with TV and movies. You have to be very well-rounded nowadays. And I know there's, damn it. There it is. Too many guys near Grew. 1-0 Dallas. But it does take a lot of energy and effort, but it's worth it. Because obviously, as you know, if someone's a fucking idiot on YouTube or Twitch, it's not like people won't tell that person that they think they're fucking stupid or they're wrong. Obviously, if you talk a big game and you know nothing about what you're talking about, people will be very, very fast to, pick you apart and whatnot. So 2 stars right there next to Grew. I already knew that was going to be bad. Off his chest, off the deflection. Fuck. Nice shot. Wyatt Johnston. Nice job, Wyatt. Now, as a Kraken fan, we show no pictures of the stars for the remaining of the series because of that. Of course not. Nice job. I'll even throw up the logo. Got to have it matching, Nice job. 1-0 stars. Not the start that I wanted, but kind of what I felt might happen. Another save. All right, I think that's enough love and representation. I know you predicted, bro. 2 more. Yeah, that too. Yeah, I mean, like I said, sometimes I'll just have a certain feeling about things. But yeah, last year, with Julio, I predicted that I'd get a Julio ball, and I did. And I predicted that I would get an Aaron Judge ball. I did, which is not something that happens to too many people. I mean, I probably had the best day that you can have, days. I'm not a Zach Hampel. I don't go to every fucking game, but I know where to sit. I know where to be. And I don't usually try to get home run balls. I'm usually, just trying to get live balls during the game, foul balls and whatnot, or, after inning balls that get thrown up into the crowd and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of ESP moments. I mean, I watched 0 hockey last year, like 0, right? And I was able to predict that the Avalanche were going to beat the Rays in 6 games. And I got that correct. I helped people win a lot of money. How am I able to predict that when I watch nothing, right? And I was also able to predict the Warriors were going to beat the Celtics in 6 with Curry get the MVP. And I predicted that before the playoffs started, and that happened. I'm not going to be right all the time, but a lot of times I have kind of a gauge. But again, when guys get hurt, that changes everything. Injuries change everything, but sometimes teams are hot and they're healthy and they have the momentum. But I know that probably freaked a lot of people out, since I didn't really watch anything and I was still able to predict who was going to win in what game. But it's like when you have teams that go in a 7-game series, most aren't going to be 4-0. So you can take that out of the equation. And most of them aren't going to go 7. I mean, it happens here and there, but normally, you're going to get a 4-1 or a 4-2, and typically one team isn't going to be shitty enough to only win one, and the other team isn't going to be dominant to win 4. So it's like, one team is good and they'll win a couple, but they're just not good enough to win the series. And that's why a lot of championships end in 6, because the other team is good, but they're just not good enough to stack more than 2 wins. The other team will get that 4th win before the other team gets the 3rd. So, I mean, there's a lot. You just have to go into the history books. I mean, I'm always looking back in the past. And history tends to repeat itself a lot in sports, but every once in a while, history, tends to be broken, and that's when people really lose a lot of money because they anticipate the same thing happening, like what's happened before, and then you have a Cinderella story, which could be the Kraken or the Panthers, and that fucks everything up. So this year is completely different from last year. Last year, even non-hockey fans knew Colorado more than likely was going to take it all. They were just incredibly dominant from preseason, number 1 ranking all the way through the regular season, and went through everyone. But not every year is like that. And this year is the complete opposite. Stars 1, Kraken 0, 16 shots on goal. Who are they? Kraken with only 7. We need to capitalize and get at least something here. Nice save by Grew. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. $65. Let's get to a hundo. 35 to go. Predict the Brewers this year. Usually with my predictions, I just can't be put on the spot. It has to be like a feeling. You know what I mean? It's either I'll have a dream or I'll say it out loud and then it happens. You know what I mean? But a lot of times it has to be closer to what's going to happen. Like, I'm not going to be able to be like, oh, beginning of the season for baseball, Brewers are going to win the World Series. It doesn't work like that. I have to be able to watch some games. I have to be able to break down the pitching, the bullpen, and then see how the momentum is and what's happening at the trade deadline. So usually it's like when the playoffs start, I'll have kind of a gauge, but no one's ever going to be correct all the time. But it does seem like the Brewers, have a good chance to win the division, and if not, wild card. But it seems like as long as they don't have any devastating injuries and Yelich can step up, but you got other guys, Rowdy Tellez, and your pitching has been pretty good. Your bullpen has been lights out. It just seems like this could be a year where you make it. How far does Milwaukee go? I don't know if they're good enough necessarily to go, to a championship series, maybe a divisional series, but I guess anything can happen in baseball, especially if you have some of the powerhouses not being as good. But the problem is, out of all the powerhouses struggling a little bit, Dodgers, Astros not being as dominant, Cardinals, Mariners not being so good, Dodgers trying to find their way. The Braves seemed like a World Series contender, and it was like them, the Brewers, Tampa Bay. Now the Pirates are doing pretty good. But if you're looking at like dominance, I mean, it feels like this could be the Atlanta Braves year. Like if you're looking at one of the lower teams, yeah, it could be one of the lower teams. But if Atlanta doesn't have any major injuries, they feel like a nice blend of old and new, and they've already won it before. So it feels like, if one team could get there, it wouldn't be shocking if the Braves make the World Series, or the NLDS, NLCS, and then one of these maybe newer teams as well. But I do like how the Brewers have been playing this year. Obviously, from what they've had, the struggles kind of at the end of the regular season, kind of like the Mariners, and not making it, and then coming out strong. We do have quite a few Brewers and Wisconsin fans that follow the Bucks, the Packers, the Badgers for college football, as well as the Brewers. So.
Small and delicious, but they didn't answer. They were already in our mouths. Another day, another drumstick.
We're talking about the Calder Trophy finalists, Matty Beniers, Owen Power, Stuart Skinner. Tarek, you have more? Guys, Seattle.
This year or like in general? Because in general, normally the Lightning is the better squad, but we have to see if Tampa can stay healthy throughout the full year. And you have to look at the teams that they've played. Sometimes if you start off the season really, really hot, but you're playing a bunch of garbage teams, yeah, it's still difficult to start off a season, 8-0, 10-0, 13-0. You still have to win games. I mean, it's very difficult, but we'll see if they end up keeping that greatness throughout the whole season. I know it's crazy how some people don't even play the game, but they just watch other people play. You know what? I don't have one because I don't have the same feeling that I did last year, and I don't have that feeling necessarily. Like I thought, for basketball, it felt like a Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, whoever was able to win between, those two teams, if they were to play each other. I didn't predict that Giannis was going to have a back injury and then miss all those fucking free throws, but it's kind of feels like a Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets. And that's what it kind of felt like to me before the playoffs started. Now, will that happen? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? But I think the Warriors are the only threat to Denver, and with Boston, with Milwaukee already out, the Sixers can hang for a little bit, regardless if Embiid plays or not. Oh, there it is. With that wraparound, I already knew that was trouble. 2-0 Stars. Nice wraparound. Damn it. But am I surprised? No, because this is kind of what I expected. Because, like I said, if your team is good and you are the real deal, you bounce back in game 2 like the Warriors did, right? Not obviously what Toronto did. 102-78. The game is over. It's already been over for, 30 minutes when we were already at halftime? There's just no coming back. Pooh, look at that. Woo! A little too late with Grew moving that leg. Dadanoff. Let's get a good photo of Dadanoff. Dadanoff. Good job, Dallas. All right, let's show some love for Dallas. That's another thing, too, is just being able to appreciate greatness and not just being a hater. I just feel that there's just so many people that are fake on social media and just, it's just, just because someone's loud and aggressive doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. And it's always good to be able to appreciate the greatness, even if it's going against what you got going on right now. But I can only show so much, just a little bit, but I'm going to show it. That's more than any other Kraken fan would do, I'll tell you that. Nice job. 2-0 Stars. Hopefully Seattle can get at least one in this period, so that way we feel that it's not totally out of reach. But this was going to be a hard one to fight, just based off momentum, the crowd, Dallas knowing that they should have won game 1, and knowing that we stole one. So, yeah, but I don't have one. But again, for me, based off when the playoffs started, it felt like a Boston Nuggets. I know that's not really exciting. Of course, it would be better if it was like the Suns or the Warriors based off ratings. Warriors and Celtics rematch probably would be the best rated thing for them in NBA sports for, trying to get people to watch. And then Boston being able to win this time around. Because obviously, for a lot of people, even though the Joker is fantastic, the style that they play with defense and rebounding is not as exciting. You're not getting a whole lot of SportsCenter top 10 plays. And as far as like marketability, it's not like you are one of the best teams in the NBA, but you're not really that enjoyable to watch unless they go on a nice, offensive run. So. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I meant. It kind of feels like it. 6 or 7. Yeah, but the whole idea, for Seattle was just to split. If you can go up 2-0 like Florida did to Toronto, great. That gives them a hell of a lot better chance to actually win that series. But, to go 7 games against Colorado, stealing game 1, they did the same thing, when they played Colorado when they won 3-1 in game 1. And then obviously the other team, the momentum kind of goes back and forth. But, I mean, even though they're down 2-0 here, if they can get a goal, and make it 2-1 going to the third, maybe something can happen. Ooh. What is it, Subway? Oh, thanks. Oh, that looks good. Did you get the other half? All right.
See how much you can save at geico.com.
It's too hot. This is too hot.
Hi, Paisley.
Great Clips is
Hi.
inviting the greatest fan floats
Hi.
to the first ever Hockey Hair Hall of Fame.
Paisley loves food.
Chance to win great prizes. So
Anything that's food related.
start Jack's Foods and get a cut of Great Clips. Then shove your float at greatclips.com/hockeyhair.
Introducing Domino's new loaded
Yep.
tax. Because we're
I don't know, and I just think karma is a big thing too in sports, and you know what I mean. And it's like there's just so many people that have their own agenda, and you know they're biased. And I don't know. I just feel that if you're just a hater all the time, you know, good things aren't going to happen for you. You know, it's just good to be able to appreciate the greatness that you see. And a lot of times I'm that way because I don't want to be biased. I want to call it how I see it. But also, you never know what star player from another team might end up joining your favorite team in the future. So. Yes, I gave her dinner. Paisley had the dinner. Oh, I bet. Yeah, and honestly, if Seattle ended up losing, you know, the next 4 games in a row, I mean, everyone in the Pacific Northwest is like really proud on, you know, how far they got and what they were able to do. Just the simple fact to beat Colorado was like Seattle beating Toronto. We didn't expect anything. And even if you only win past 1 round, a lot of teams that get to the playoffs, right? Like when they go to the wild card, like let's say on the NFL side, they just lose and it's over, right? They don't actually win the game. They just get there. So to be able to get there, compete, and actually take a team that's better than you, supposedly, all the way to game 7 and then finding a way to win, that's a big deal, you know, and you got to ride that wave because you know it's not going to happen all the time. But it just feels good to be able to make history and have that memory. It's like when people have goals, you know, you got to be able to enjoy the ride. You know, just like CA said, sometimes you got to enjoy the ride. It gets stressful, you know what I mean? But also, like, if this ended up going 7 and we won, oh! Woo! Let's go. We needed that. Woo! Let's go. Oh, baby. I just needed that 1 goal. See, the sports gods, they're like, okay, O-Dog showed some Dallas players. You know, he's trying to keep it 50-50. Sports gods see that. They're like, okay, the guy's not being this all-pro Seattle, actually showing some love and respect for Dallas. Boom. And then we get the goal. Thank you, sports gods. Let's go, Kraken. I'm telling you, sports gods, they listen. They're watching. All right, Ty. Let's go, baby. 2-1. Now we feel good. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Well, there hasn't been many people on planet Earth that move like Walter Payton or that have moved like him since. It's like when you go back and watch Barry Sanders. Yeah, Emmitt Smith, you know, had the best line, but Barry was doing things with no line. You know, it's like he had like maybe 1 offensive lineman like Lomas Brown. Like they never really had help for him. Like, can you imagine what Barry Sanders' numbers would have been under that Dallas line? Like if you flipped Emmitt for Barry and Barry was on Dallas, he would have just obliterated everything. I mean, we probably would have seen Barry run for more 200-yard games than anyone. And he might have been able to do some of that in like the first half. It's just incredible because obviously on the Lions, it was either like a 5-yard loss and he'd dance around, or it would be like a 90-yard touchdown. I mean, there was some, you know, short gains, 4 yards, 5 yards, but a lot of times it was like, okay, negative yards, -2, -5, -1, because the line isn't helping and he's dancing, trying to get it. But then after getting 3 negative plays or 2 and maybe a short gain of a yard, boom, 79-yard rush for a touchdown, and he jukes, 10 out of 11 guys on defense. I mean, that's just what Barry Sanders was. But Walter was the same way. And I only got to see him play a little bit because I was born in 82, but I've gone back and watched quite a bit of the older stuff. But I did get a few years of him, at my young age, obviously from stuff that I can remember with my dad, but I didn't get enough of it in his prime. That's for damn sure. And I can definitely see why there's still some loyal Bears fans, after all these years. Obviously, we know Chicago sports is huge, but, there hasn't been too many people like Walter Payton since, it's a different breed of running back with the Earl Campbells and obviously the Walter Paytons. They don't make running backs nowadays like they do. And if you have one, they're pretty rare unless you're like a Derrick Henry kind of build. 2-1 Stars over the Kraken. I just needed one. Now, if we can tie it going into the third, then Seattle feels great. Only 30? Tie. Fucking A, dude. That's what I'm talking about. So for Fujitsu Frontiers, what are we talking about? Is that baseball? What is that? What sport is that in Japan? I'm just not familiar with the team. I don't want to sound like an idiot. Oh, okay. There you go. You answered my own question. Two 2-1 Stars. And then I like the anticipation, in hockey too. It's like sometimes when you're listening to, either rap music or like, rave music, and you're waiting for the drop, and you're just anticipating, you know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, like a Daft Punk, like an old school or something new at the clubs. But, you just kind of like, or like when you hang out with someone, like I have friends that are like beat makers. And so they kind of make beats in layers. It's like baking a cake. So it's like they have to do it layer by layer. And I feel hockey is kind of the same way where you're just like anticipating that first goal. And sometimes you got to wait a period, and, but once the one happens, then the drop hits. And then it's like sometimes it just keeps going. And then you get one after another after another. And that's what's really exciting about hockey, that it's not like soccer, where sometimes when you watch soccer, it feels like no one's ever going to score and everyone's just running around, and you get some good shots, but a lot of them are shitty, not even close. Everyone's just running around back and forth, and it's hard to like keep yourself like in tune unless it's like World Cup, and then that's a different story because it means something. But I feel with like soccer, sometimes it's hard to keep your attention there unless you have like a favorite, like a Messi or Ronaldo, and you're like, okay, I don't give a shit if they're scoring or not. I'm just going to watch them do what they do out there. But with hockey, you just know once that first goal is scored, it typically isn't going to end 1-0, in the 3 periods. I mean, even if you only get that first goal in the 3rd period, just the way that guys get tired and the way that these athletes, operate, hockey games typically aren't going to be 1-0, especially in the playoffs. So, that route will start. We just got to hope that we finish it. 5:33 left in the 2nd period. I got a Snapple in the freezer that I need to go grab. Not JT in the building. How are you? Yeah, so I used to drink like almost every day, but I got diabetes that kind of runs in the family and whatnot, and I figured just for my mental health to see, I used to do like Modelo Cheladas or like Modelos or Coronas, and I would drink like 2 to 6 a stream like almost every day. But then that shit gets expensive, and then I was getting overweight, and I figured, I need to start exercising more. So I've actually taken out a majority of alcohol, and brews, unless I'm like, doing something special, like a road trip or I'm at a game or something. But so usually for me, it's Gatorade, water, Snapple. But then I'll go to the dispensary. That's kind of my choice right now. I'd rather, do the pre-rolls or the gummies than drink. So, but we have a lot of options here in Oregon: breweries, wineries, dispensaries. I mean, pretty much if you like beer, wine, or gummies or edibles or anything of that nature, I mean, this is the place. And it's crazy how many locations there are. Like, I think I have 3 dispensaries within 5 minutes of my house. 4:20 left in the second period. 2-1 Stars. 23 shots on goal for Dallas. 12 for Seattle. But we finally are starting to find our rhythm and our footing. And we're not really on the defense as much now. It's, we got to make sure that we hang around. Oh, that's a penalty. Fucking A. I mean, but I've never really been addicted. I mean, some people have addictive personalities, and we know with like alcohol, it's, one of those things. I mean, it can be expensive. Some people are happy drunks, and some people turn into a whole nother person, when they drink, and not in a good way, whether they get rude or whatever it may be. And I feel that I always have high energy as it is, but I don't really feel I change too much, obviously, unless you drink a lot, then you're like slurring your fucking words. And obviously, if I'm going to be grinding and doing the stream, I don't want to be like 100% out of it. I want to be able to enjoy the experience and just not be drunk every game. But I've exercised a lot more. I've lost weight, and I feel good, and sometimes you got to take a break from things, and then usually everyone will have their vice. If they do beer and wine and liquor, then maybe they cut back on one of them or two, or, you cut back on something else, 4 minutes left in the second period. Dallas up 2-1 on Seattle. Feels good that they got that goal. It'd be really ideal if we could tie it, because if we tie it going into the third period, we have all the momentum. And I think it would be a higher probability for us to be able to, win this game or at least go to OT. But I'm happy with 2-1. 2-1 is a hell of a lot better mentally than 2-0. Even though we've seen, a team score 2 goals within like 30 seconds. I mean, it's possible. But still, it's a lot of pressure when you're going into the third period knowing that you're down 2-0. Like, you just have to hope everything goes right, maybe get a power play or 2 to take advantage, and then you can slip one past the goalie if he's sleeping. Oh! There it is. They're like, we're going to make this really hard for you because we should have won game 1. 3-1 Stars. Nice job. I like I said, I didn't expect anything less than a 110% effort. I thought that if Seattle was going to win this, they would probably have to score 5. And that's a fucking lot, after what happened last game. And, just the way that Dallas has been playing, this is a must-win game because they know if they go back to Seattle down 2-0, the series is probably over. And it won't be a sweep, but it might be too much for them to overcome. And you can tell they're playing like this is a must-win game. Nice job. All right, Matt. Fucking A, 3-1. And of course it was Joe. All right, Joe, you want some love? Four goals on my birthday on Tuesday. 1 today. Pavelski. He's awesome. And then obviously, what does that mean for Jason now? What does that mean for Jason? I mean, you guys are already rolling right now. Nice job, Joe.
Going to one side of the net there, coming back for the rebound. Just incredible the knack that he has.
All right, no worries. 69th career postseason goal, second player in franchise history to score 5 within the first 2 games. I think it said there on the bottom of the screen. 65. Let's get to a hundo. 35 to go. Yeah, but I'm just really blessed to have, like I said, with Odinson and Sarah and like Dusk and some of the newbies. It's just nice to be able to, touch base on something that I lost the passion for. I lost NASCAR and passion, and I lost NHL passion. Obviously I was a Dale Earnhardt guy, and then obviously once he died, I tried to do a little Dale Jr., but then I really didn't have a whole lot of people that I could connect with. And obviously it's like Chase Elliott now and with what he's doing. But I still appreciate like Joey Logano and Kyle Busch, and I like Ross Chastain, even though a lot of people don't like him because he's kind of like a villain. I like heels in wrestling as well. But for NHL, just not having, a team in Oregon or Washington, that was the reason, because I didn't want to hop on someone else's greatness. I wanted to be able to be a part of something, and finally Seattle ended up having a team. And, I've been thinking about doing, games, but, obviously I didn't do anything during the expansion year. And it just feels good knowing that, we have a good turnout. I got the thumbs on lock, and it's just nice to be able to hang out with the hockey crowd. And it'll be something that we'll continue to do on a regular basis moving forward. So there'll be like some regular season Kraken games I'll do. And then obviously if the Kraken get eliminated, I'm still going to continue the playoffs, and we'll continue to do, the games. It'll just be a lot funner for me if, Seattle can keep going. Well, look at that. Ovechkin, 72. Crosby, 71. Look at Joe, 69. Dude, he might end up breaking that all time. He only needs 3, 4 to be number 1. Joe's going to do it. Joe's going to get that before the series is over. Yeah, I lost my NBA passion. You know what I mean? But like I said, with that, it was like during COVID and the bubble. And I used to love NBA, and I like college hoops a little bit more, but I don't really have love for the NBA and college hoops. I mean, there's still some that I enjoy, but it's like I can't watch just anybody. You know what I mean? But it's really based off the style and how things are. But I'm back on the NASCAR side, and I'm back on the hockey side, and I honestly think that those are better for me at this point in my life, since I'm already back on baseball, wrestling, football. So it's like I didn't do 2 of them for a while. And, I stuck with basketball for as long as I could, but I'll still do some, for the NBA, but it's just, I feel that it's kind of like would be forced. Like I'm not going to enjoy it like I do NASCAR and hockey. I don't want to be fake like some streamers are, where they just do shit that they absolutely hate just to try to get views and subs and donos. Like I want to be authentic all the way through, and I don't want to lie or pretend to be someone that I'm not, or pretend to be into something that I'm not. Like I want to be as authentic, from day one to now, and I just have to be truthful and honest about it. And I think that's, something that a lot of people wouldn't do. A lot of people just get caught up with the subs and the views and the money, and they forget where they came from. 59 seconds left in the second period. Stars up 3-1, putting the pressure on Seattle. I mean, if we can get one good shot here and get it to 3-2, highly doubt it, but you never know. But now we just had to hope that we get into overtime, and we pray that we can hold them and we can get to 3-3 and go to OT. But the way that Dallas has been playing, there's a high probability that they're going to get 4 or 5 goals before this one's over. Probably at a minimum 4, but it could be as much as 5. But we need to try to be able to get on a little bit of run in the third period, like getting a goal within the first maybe 5 minutes to cut it to 3-2 if possible. And then, within the last 6 minutes, if we have a chance to be able to tie it. I mean, unless we can get, back-to-back goals within like a minute or 2, which could happen. But the way that the game has gone, it's been kind of far and few between. But again, the probability of Dallas winning game 2 going in, I felt was kind of 90%. Like everything would have to go right for us. And on top of that, we'd probably have to score 5 to win, and we're at 1. End of the second period, Stars 3, Kraken 1. And like I said, this has a good chance of going 7 games, hopefully. And that's going to be exciting if it does. And we split in the first, 2 games. That's exactly what you wanted. I mean, no one expects to go 2 up, on the road like Florida did, but it is what it is. All right, before the game started, and then now. 3-1 Stars. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just think, some people only have certain things that they're into. And like when I spend so much time with so many of the things that I do, I think that's the reason why I didn't really get into NASCAR or hockey, because I didn't have a team or a favorite player. I just knew of the great players. And then I didn't really have a connection to a driver anymore after Dale Earnhardt died. It's like, I rooted for Dale Jr. because I love father-son combos when I met Griffey and Griffey Sr. So I always root for father-son combos. And they're like very intriguing because my dad was a big part of my life. And I liked being able to see that kind of connection. But, and then obviously you have Bill Elliott, Chase Elliott, and that kind of father-son combo. But, sometimes it does take certain people that you mingle with to bring the passion back. And I really appreciate a lot of y'all for bringing it back, and also for Seattle, exceeding the expectations and being so good. And then now I'll be able to, do this moving forward. And, we're definitely getting better overall, viewability and accessibility on baseball and for hockey compared to maybe NASCAR this year. And that's what I needed. If I got to take something out, I got to be able to put something back in. So. Said the Blues gave up 3 goals in a period a lot this season, so it's possible. Yeah. But just the way the flow of the game that it's been going, I mean, it just, even going into the game, I don't know, it kind of felt more like this was going to be a really difficult task. Like Florida came in, and I feel with Toronto, I think they started to lose a little bit of the confidence. They know that they're a very, very good team, but I think that anyone that was taking Florida's run, for being the last team to get in to the playoffs, like, oh, it's like an NBA. If you're like the 8 seed, they're not going to be able to beat the 1 seed, or they're not going to be able to go for, far or even win the initial series. But they've played like they're trying to go to the Stanley Cup, and it shows. And when you can punch a team in the mouth on the road and they're building twice, like, can Toronto still come back and win the series with Matthews and all their studs? Of course, I know they can. But the way that Florida's playing right now, winning 2 on the road, mentally, they already are like at a disadvantage, thinking like, okay, we still believe in ourselves. But the last thing that you want to do is drop 2 games at home and knowing that you're going to have to go to Florida. And what do you think is going to happen there? You think they're just going to roll over and die over there? So we'll see. But it just feels like a lot of the top dogs in the NBA, NHL, and MLB are either choking, or if they're not choking or they're not being cocky and overconfident, that the underdogs are just, they're playing up to their potential. And normally we don't see too many teams, play above and beyond their potential, especially when you're going to break history, and it's kind of cool to see. So it's like, not only do we have Florida, but you have Seattle too. So I got an American Staffordshire. So it's kind of like in the Pitbull family and whatnot. She's a little over a year. Let's see if I have a photo here. And when I got her, I was on stream, and I got her when she was, 6 weeks old?
Ever since we started looking for a better cashback credit card.
Options have been coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I'll show you. This is what she looked like when I got her. It's like the cutest thing ever. And she's so loving too. Like, I've never had a dog be so like always is like communicating with her voice, with her different grunts and howls and barks. Like, she definitely is a lot smarter than I ever anticipated, for sure. And definitely saved me. There's been times where, it's like you need to be able to have something in your life, if your mental health is kind of tough. But that was like, I think, the first day. Yeah, but I've never felt this kind of connection with a human or an animal, honestly. But she's brought a lot of joy, for sure. And then I see if I have one that's kind of more recent.
goes to the goal, and it happens again tonight.
Listen, if he decided not to go to blue paint, you could probably give him a pass after that huge hit from that double. But that just
And that's kind of how she looks now.
stopping people in that blue paint area. Getting knocked out.
But it's good, you know, so it gives me a chance to be able to lose weight, exercise, because she needs it. So even when it's raining and the weather, you know, out here in Oregon, it rains a lot, but I always have to try to find a little bit of a break, you know, in the weather, even if it's only for 30 minutes or an hour and we don't get soaked, because she needs it. You know, she's the type of, you know, puppy and dog that needs that consistent exercise and at some point needs to mingle with other dogs and, you know, needs to be played with, catch, and, you know, playing around with the ropes and everything. Like she's a very engaged dog, and she's very high maintenance, but it's worth it. So.
And the thing about him is he's going to be 39 this summer, but if you look, he was less.
Oh man, they are. I mean, like I said, no, and just that you know, unconditional love, you know, just to be excited to see you. Like I wish more people, you know, were like that. People wonder why, you know, people love cats and dogs, but specifically dogs, I think more just because of their personality shows a little bit more than a cat, I feel. And you know, just like being excited to be able to see you and run to the door. And it's like when I will go outside on my back deck, like even if I'm just going to go grab like a soda or if I'm, you know, throwing the garbage away, she'll just be waiting on the outside, you know, for me. And then we'll start like whining and purring, not really purring, but like kind of whining and like mini barks, whine, you know, and tail shaking and getting all excited, and then runs into the house and waits by the door for me and everything. So it's just a great feeling to feel that kind of love for sure. All right, Stars 3-1. Stars are up. I think every, you know, Kraken fan knew that this was going to be very tough. At least we didn't give up 4 goals to Joe yet, but there's still a possibility that we could force overtime. We just have to pray that they don't get any more goals in this period and we can tie it and go 3-3. And if it goes 3-3, it is possible Seattle could win 4-3, but the way that the game has gone, it just feels like it's a Dallas game.
Broadcast 15 days after the injury, he came back and scored. Remember that time he got hurt playing for San Jose? Now he went down that horrific injury. I think it was 15 days later. I think he had a huge game against the Avalanche as well too. So Joe Pavelski's a gamer, he's a battler, and there's a reason why all those young players in that.
All right, I'm gonna try to find some throwback photos.
Yeah.
All right, Pavelski, he's got the goal that makes this a 2-goal game, but a lot of scoring in this period after first period, we saw no goals. We're going to get to our Discover highlight here. And again, it's the Dallas Stars, but it's getting done in a different way.
The power play, and it's the second unit. You've been singing Wyatt Johnson's praise all season long. He probably should have been a top 3 nominee for the Calder.
I'll hit you with a Brett Hull, Sarah.
So this is the original setup. If he's the bumper, that's what he referred to as the bumper.
If anyone's got any throwback players that they haven't seen any photos of in a while, just mention them and we'll throw them up.
So watch this as the broken play and it comes back around. He's actually going to pop ahead of Canada here.
All right, I'll delete some of these other wrestling photos that I had for Cyberpunk.
It confuses their guys when they come in together. It takes them a little bit out of position, and as he drives to the net, it forces Canada down. That opens up that lane across the ice to Miller. And what does he do, Ace? He's got that.
God, this brings me back.
24 goals, tied for all rookies this year, and he bangs home the rebound.
He only played 7 games this draft year. Shout out to Jim Nill and their scouting staff there in Dallas. As a first-round draft pick, Alex and Block were talking about during the broadcast. Only 7 games to evaluate this young man. They definitely hit the jackpot with him.
He is half the age of Joe Pavelski. 19.
I haven't seen a Chris Chelios in a while.
A little bit later on in the postseason right now, but yeah, half the age, still getting done. What else we got? What we're looking forward to?
Just to speak for the Dallas Stars, you know, we're talking about.
Yeah, Dallas very fast.
I think Biz and myself and Hank were talking about how they're just so structured, and obviously defensively sound. But Dadonov scored that goal off of a change from the Seattle Kraken. Now they're breaking the puck out of the defensive zone, but look at Seattle's defensive core. They're backing off that blue line. This allows Dadonov to get so much speed to the neutral zone. They're not really gapping up. He takes full advantage of it, uses that speed. And
oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, John is like, oh, I got you, man.
And just get it just past the goal line.
Why did you come up with that word?
What? Centrifugal force. Yeah, that's like I said, number 1 year out the neck. Hey, you know that one? That comes with Swedish. I know it is Swedish.
That is a crazy stat, Elliot. See, look at that. Remember how he was doing so shitty in the regular season? He was being a ball hog and doing all those dumbass shots. Now he's kind of found himself. It's good. 127-98. The game has already been over for 2.5 quarters. It's already over in the second quarter. That's a problem with NBA blowouts. You just really lose like, the attention span on it when it gets to be like that. Like once it's above like 18 points, like everyone stops paying attention.
A rebel took to the streets. He recruited others to join him. They roamed the hood and challenged authority. Community leaders feared them. Religious leaders abhorred them. We have to get them off the streets, they said. But they weren't part of a gang spreading hate and terror. They were spreading love.
Little Patrick Waugh.
Crank up the volume for the biggest event of the summer. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is incredible, epic, a must-see. It's the best Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame. And you're just telling me now? Seems intuitive.
Sean William Scott. We haven't seen him in a whole lot of stuff.
Not waiting in line at drive-thru just to place an order. Use the
Sakic.
on Apple CarPlay instead.
Okay, what should we get?
Carry out any large one-topping
Sakic
pizza for $7.99
Waugh era seems like such a long time ago.
on Apple CarPlay.
Because it was.
They said that's fine for the streets, but you'll never win a race. They said motorcycles are one thing, but you can't.
I think I need a Yarmir Yager. So I miss playing the hockey games.
No gas. They've challenged us to do a lot of things. What will we do next? The power of dreams.
And when I think Yager, I think like this type. I have to have like the hair. And it's got to be penguins. Like my video game days when I was a kid. It's like if I see a photo of Yager and it don't look like this, then it's not the right photo. Like, boom, this one. Like some 80s, 90s like hairband photo. Love it.
So, how's it going? With the interest rates up, I've been looking to get a better savings account, but all the options have you up in the air. Well, yes. You know, at NerdWallet, we can help you make the smartest decision by comparing rates of top high yield.
Look at this Pittsburgh style jersey that Yager's got on too.
Smartest way to get the most out of your savings. Well, in that case, I'll have another coffee.
Oats, almonds, regular.
Oh. Did you get it? It's because earlier she was up in the air.
Oh, baby, that's a cool one.
Okay.
All right, no problem. I'll be back for game 3, and we'll see what I decide to do tomorrow. No worries.
First, to those who care about you, the ones who teach you, and show you what's possible.
All right, third period is going to start here in just a moment. Kraken down 3-1. Still not impossible, but it's not looking too great. But again, like I said, I don't think anyone thought this was going to be a sweep by either side. Like I think most people thought that this was going to go 6 or 7. That even if you thought Dallas was going to win the series, that it's not going to be easy. That the Kraken will push to the very, very end. So. Yeah, absolutely. You think he's overrated? Was the expectations of him trying to be like the next Wayne Gretzky or something? Or
He's been unbelievable.
and you're not going to really have too many people that are going to be on the Gretzky Lemieux. Obviously Ovechkin and Crosby were the two biggest names for quite a while.
I explained to the audience earlier that you live with Joe Pavelski. He's your landlord. What are some of the things you've learned from him? I mean, I think the biggest thing just kind of
100% domination.
Just how he goes about his business and just how he treats his body and how he's able to play at such a high pace and just to be where he's at. It's pretty impressive. Wyatt, thanks for your time. Thank you.
Hey, who'd you live with early on?
Darius Kasparaitis was my landlord for a couple months before I moved into my own place.
He was still alive.
He was great. He was awesome. Makes you feel like I belong.
MLB on TBS Tuesday is back for a new season. We are ready to play baseball. There's nothing weak about this team. Every Tuesday night, TBS is on the call. Red Sox Braves, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m.
What would you rank him, Michael, out of all the players in hockey? Like, where would you rank him on your ranking list now?
Now what? You'll talk? Call us watching sports, Dan. You deserve better. So much in life is a compromise, but with #1 customer satisfaction, DirecTV never is. Now, get out of here. Guarantee your low price for 2 years. Call 1-800-DirecTV to get a $200 reward card. The all-new Chevy Colorado is made for more. Bring more. Do more. See more.
Got my baby sitting by me, shining like a
And be more.
only silver linings in the clouds.
The all-new Chevy Colorado, made for more.
Pods handles the driving. Pack at your pace, store your things until you're ready, then we deliver to your new home, across town or across the country. Pods, your personal moving and storage team.
Twisted Tea fans love the lake. So we're surprising them with a Twisted Tea drop. It's time to turn up your summertime fun all day long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is cold, refreshing, and goes down smooth with 5% alcohol. And Twisted Tea tastes like...
All right, it's not looking too good right now, but anything is possible. I think I left my Snapple in here too long. I like it, though, when it's like a slushy or squishy style like Simpsons. You just got to get it like frozen. There's nothing better if you haven't done it. You know, it's obviously you can do it with like Gatorade, but the Snapple flavor with the kiwi strawberry, the mango madness, you just buy one, you grab it, you put it in the freezer for about 45 minutes to an hour. Worth every penny. Oh my God, so good.
This transformation is real. Now any guy can temporarily
Yeah.
braids and create a full defined look for beard and brows.
Do you think that we've seen the best from him, or do you think you're going to end up getting something from him as we, progress with his career?
At Jersey Mike's, they freshly slice you sub right in front of you, which takes some training.
But obviously with Colorado, you have to think also, too, it's not like they're going to be good every single year. They had their run with, Sakic and Patrick Waugh, and then, weren't really that good for a while. And then they had their run last year. So it's not like Colorado is going to be winning championship after championship, back-to-back. Like there might be another period or two before they get really, really good again. I mean, even though they made the playoffs this year, but they lost to Seattle. So. Oh, I just knocked over my Snapple, and then it went to Tubi. Now I got to go back to the game. There we go. All right, start of the third. All right, let's go. Third period, baby.
Seattle went one to get the third. And the Kraken have work to do.
$65. Let's get to a hundo. 35 to go. All right, here we go. Last 19 minutes and change. 30 shots on goal for the Stars. Only 14 for the Kraken. So for us to be down 3-1, so many more opportunities there for Dallas. I mean, there's all kind of a sports psychology that goes on in the playoffs too. And I don't know if that has something to deal, go within matchups, from opponent to opponent and whatnot. But usually if the team is legit, if they are a championship worthy team, they usually always bounce back in that game too. But again, we didn't get that out of Toronto. Florida rode that wave, and they put the pressure on, and even if they were the last team going into the playoffs, you found a way to beat Boston, the number one seed, the number one team with the best record, most points scored, and they said, fuck it, and then they rode that momentum in Toronto and beat that ass twice in Toronto's building. I imagine Toronto probably can't even believe what's happening right now, but momentum is very high for Florida. Like the way that Florida's played in those first two games, I would be shocked if Toronto ends up winning that series. I mean, it's definitely possible, but I haven't really seen Florida play like they were playing to lose. They're playing like they're trying to, if they can get past Boston, they can get past anyone. That's kind of how they're playing. Oh, we got to be able to find a way to get this to 3-2 with at least 10 minutes to go. That'd be a good point to be at, so there's not as much pressure. So we got 8 minutes to score a goal. You hear that, sports gods? I'm talking to you. 8 minutes to get it to 3-2. Come on, Seattle. Yeah. For Brandon, John? 18 minutes left, 30 shots on goal for Dallas, 15 for the Kraken. And that's another kind of cool thing about hockey. Like you can be down 3-1 and it can feel like you're down 7-1 and it's over. But there's other times when you're down 3-1, but you actually feel that you can take advantage of the goalie. And if you can just get a little bit of momentum, that you can get 2 goals in a few minutes. I mean, it's possible. It's not just like, oh, it's over. Like with the Warriors game with the Lakers, like that shit was over in the second quarter. And even though this feels like it's over, I mean, in the NHL, you can find a way to get back-to-back goals, either within a 30-second period or it could be spread out between many, many minutes in between. But we're far from over, even though we feel that this one is a Stars win. Come on, Hack. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, Maddie. Come on, Oliver.
And even give these guys a break so they don't have team meetings. They haven't had team meetings on their days off in between games. So he says, so physically, mentally, these guys can rest and recover and be as sharp as they possibly can for every game. They'll need every aspect.
Oh, wow. Look at you dropping the stats today. That's a good one. Are you watching the post show on TNT or ESPN? This is TNT for the hockey. Icing.
You want it to solidly in the game, but maybe that's also a Pavelski influence. I'm working on those small aspects because Pavelski's off the depth front. But for these guys spending the time to work on their face-off game and to see the results here, key moments for playoffs.
16:50 left in the third period. I mean, if we can get to like 25 shots on goal, which would be pretty difficult the way that this game has been going, but I mean, that would give us probably the best shot to get to 3-3, which would mean we would need at least 9 shots to get there. And I don't even know if we have enough time to get 9 shots the way the game has been going. It'd be nice to be able to get a couple power plays too in this third period to help Seattle out a little bit. That's your favorite current player? You don't have this one, do you?
But it also gives you the confidence knowing you have that depth with face-off options. So you can be assertive on the fly. For some reason you get hit, you've got somebody else who can jump in for you.
Clay now has the most playoff games with 8 or more threes. Yeah, he's phenomenal. Yep. It'd just be really nice if we can get a goal, sometime between now and like 7 or 8 minutes. And then, then you don't use that way. You're not, but we've also seen it where someone can get a goal. Like if we end up getting a goal in the next couple minutes and 3-2, and then we got to wait until like 1 minute left. And then sometimes you have a miracle happen. But you just hate for it to be like that. But that's what makes hockey so exciting, that even when you think it's over, sometimes it's not over. Even when it's like, 15 minutes with nothing, and just is like the game is over. It's over. It's 3-2. It's nothing's going to happen. And then somehow, some way, that team that's down 3-2 will score with like a minute left or like 50 seconds left, like right when you think it's over. So good save by Grew. 127-100. Warriors win by 27 at home, and the series is tied. Come on, Grew.
That was a good lead by Grubauer on that last rush, though, to read off the defenders. He's going to take the pass, so he maintained aggressive positioning on the shot.
15 minutes to go in the third period. Seattle just needs to get a goal just to get it to 3-2. Just to at least feel that we have a chance to go to OT. And then if we can get it to 3-3 and go to OT, I like Seattle's chances, even though Dallas could still win in OT, but they already lost in OT once. So what are the chances of them losing in OT twice? But the way that this season has gone, anything is possible. Yeah. And I love that Elliott likes baseball now too. And like I said, sometimes you just got to be able to, find those things. And a lot of times, with hanging out with your friends and actually going on a road trip and going to a game, it changes everything. Oof, another save. Nice job, Grew.
Down to their offensive zone and gets a shot on net, but Grubauer has the answer. Here's the one we saw. Gord hit quick feet, few crossovers, and then it's Domi's turn coming down the.
Come on, baby. Stay strong. No more goals for the rest of the game. Keep it at 3. Come on, baby. Come on, Grew. Grubauer. 31 shots on goal for the Stars, only 16 for Seattle. Oof. Big one-timer. Get it out of the zone. Gosh, like so many opportunities for Dallas. Like, come on. Stop making it so hard on Grew. We're down 3-1. We're not up 3-1. That's just Dallas being more of the aggressive team. Here we go. What about our turn here? Big one-timer, no good. Come on, Seattle. Oh. Here we go. At least Seattle's, I like it when we can have like 3 or 4 shots on goal. I don't care if it gets blocked, but at least you're being active and keeping it on this side. But you got to give tip your hat to Dallas. They're playing like this game. This game means everything, to tie it up 1-1. Oh. Oh, you got the throwback with the bear. Nice. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy it. I wish I did. I mean, like I said, I did. If I didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s, I probably would still love it, like I did back in the day. But when I compare it to some other things that I'm watching, since I'm watching everything, sometimes, I just have to be honest with myself if I really, enjoy it or not, but on the same side, like if it's like the Lakers and Warriors, that is one of the series that would be, more fun to watch than some of the other matchups. If you're not going to watch every NBA matchup. Oh, that was close. Come on, Seattle. No, at least Seattle's playing in desperation mode here in the third period. They're playing like they're down 3-1 and that they are trying to be able to do anything to catch up to get it to 3-2. Come on, baby. Come on, Kraken. 13 chances to 4 of Seattle. Come on, Seattle. 12 minutes and some change. 3-1 Stars. And they pretty much have been dominant since the opening puck drop. Come on, Kraken. Come on. Come on, Oliver. Bjorkstrand. I just love how fast-paced hockey is, too. Like I said, everything happens so quickly on the NHL side. I feel it's a very easy watch and it's a memorable watch. You just have to, obviously, if you have a team, players and whatnot, the more you know, the more that you're going to enjoy it. But the energy out of the crowd, playoff hockey is something else. Yeah. The defense is a big problem for me. Like the lack thereof.
We love our new home.
Great neighborhood, big backyard.
But the lamps.
Like I feel when I watch hockey, it goes by so quick. Like NBA games go by pretty quick. And some of the NHL games and baseball games with the new rules, they're 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 40 minutes instead of like 3 hours. But I feel with like hockey matchups, even with that break in each intermission in the first, second, and third period, I feel it's just like you're not investing 5 or 6 hours, sometimes like NASCAR. I just feel like it goes by so quick when sometimes I feel I've only been streaming for like an hour, hour and a half, and we've been online for like 3. That's what makes hockey so good. Yeah, and you hated it, and now you love it. Yeah, but since football obviously is done, all my time goes with wrestling, AEW, WWE, every week, and then obviously, Mariners, Dodgers, and a lot of MLB. Now with this, obviously, playoffs here on the NHL side, and then a little bit of NASCAR too. Oh, a Jaeger commercial? Damn, when's the last time you did Jaeger bombs? That can get crazy. They used to have this guava rock star that I would have like 10, 15 years ago. I don't think they sell it anymore. But that was the perfect pair up with the Jaeger. You wouldn't do the Jaeger with the regular Monster or with the Red Bulls, even though that's kind of what's done. But the Guava Rockstar, it had kind of like a passion fruit, kind of fruit punch kind of taste. So when you drop the Jaeger in there, you don't even taste it until like after you already like shoot it and you drop it in there, the shot, and then you just drink like a quarter glass, boom. And you do like a Jaeger bomb. Like me and my buddies, we used to get like so used to and condition our bodies to that where we could do like 10 fucking Jaeger bombs and still be functional. And we could do like 10 within like an hour or two. It'd be like 5 or 6 or 7 in an hour, wait a little bit, do 3 or 4 more, and then we'd be off doing whatever we're doing. But obviously, if you're not used to doing it, it'll creep up on you because it's so sweet and you think you're going to be okay. And then all of a sudden it'll hit you. Jaeger bombs. But that Guava Rockstar, though, that was when I'd have parties at my place. That would be the one. I don't think they sell it anymore, but it was delicious. Probably one of the best Monsters or Rockstar flavors they've ever had. All right, we got 11 minutes left in the third period. Come on, Kraken. I can't get into the USFL. I mean, the XFL, I tried it for the first couple of weeks, and I did a few games on it here on the channel, and I watched a little bit. But when I'm comparing it to what else is on, it's like if the USFL is on, or even if I don't like the NBA that much, but if the Warriors and Lakers are on, I'm going to go to that, even though I don't like the NBA or college hoops as much as I did as a kid. Like, there's just so many things that are on that I would rather watch than the USFL. Like, USFL and XFL are like at the bottom of the priority list. I mean, there's just, it's like watching a USFL regular season game or XFL when I have like playoff basketball and hockey on. Like, it doesn't matter, in those games. But like for the XFL championship, I might do that. If I don't do it on the channel, I'll watch it, because it actually means something. So he said, I prefer XFL. Caw-caw! Devils and the Hurricanes, Oilers and the Golden Knights, TNT and the TBS schedule. But I'll do every Kraken game. I mean, that's a given, obviously, in this playoff run. And just depending on what kind of turnout we can get, I probably will experiment as we go into next season and some regular season games. Obviously, it's not going to probably we'll see, what the turnout will be. I mean, I hope the turnout will be pretty decent, but it just depends, on what's going on. But obviously, playoff anything is going to get more views. 10 minutes to go in the third period. Seattle's still down by 2 goals. 35 shots on goal for the Stars, 22 for the Kraken. He's a caw is the law, he says. Come on, baby. We just need to put ourselves in a position to be able to try to get a good shot on goal. But you got to give Dallas the credit. I mean, they've just been really dominant in this game. We haven't really been able to get any momentum. 40 hits for the Kraken. So we're aggressive out there. Big hits too, but. And then getting a power play here in the last 9 minutes would help our cause too. Not saying that it's going to happen, but I know that would definitely give us a better chance, even though it feels like it's going to be a Dallas win, like 90%. But if we get it to 3-2, anything's possible. Come on, Kraken. Icing. Man, I'll tell you, nostalgia is everything in life, and you got to make sure that you touch base with yourself when you were a kid and when you were younger, watching old cartoons from your childhood, finding some of your old toy collection. I mean, it's just crazy. Now it's over. 4-1 Stars. Just not our day. They're just beating our ass like they deserve to win game 1. Nice job. Fuck. Well, we'll still be able to get probably a goal for pride, but yeah, it's over now. Fucking A. Now we just got to pray we can take the 7 games. But at least I'm not like one of those people that, was thinking that we were going to win every game. Like, you have to be realistic about it. Oh my God, right in between. Unbelievable. Unbelievable how it snuck in between his legs. Freaking Tyler. Tyler Sagan. Up the photo. All right, let's get Tyler some love. 4-1 Stars. God damn it. Nice job, Tyler. Got to show that love and that appreciation. Don't want to be a hater. 7:45 left in the third period. This one is all but done, but at least for pride, I hope Seattle can get at least one more goal to make it 4-2. 4-2 is a hell of a lot better than 4-1. I mean, a loss is a loss, but, you just want to be able to see effort when things are tough. When you're already fighting the adversity and it's already over, best case scenario, we can make it to 4-3, just to show that we're fighting. But I know some people think that shit doesn't matter. It really does. How you play when you've lost already means a lot. And it shows the fan base and the coaching a lot that you're not going to quit, even if you're going to lose or you've lost already.
Think about that 2020 run for the Stars. Even Robertson mentioned that and watching that. What an inspiration.
4-1, Stars are up. 6:50 left in the third period. Yeah, and I didn't really think I would get super into like the NHL or like playoff hockey until I actually went to a Kraken game. But I guess when you are about to make history and you play Colorado in Game 7, that did it. That was, and especially with me trying to, figure out what event to do. Do I want to do a Mariner game? Do I want to do, some NBA playoffs? And then just having that opportunity. So just happy that Seattle was able to take it to that point for me to think about doing the game. I was waiting for you. Dusk. Just showing that proper appreciation and love. I think that'll make big dividends moving forward in the series. It's all good. Sometimes you have to know how sports works with the psychology of it. Some people can handle the wins and the losses a little bit better, but we'll be back. And we got a couple games in Seattle. So remember, the goal was to try to at least split. I don't think anyone thought Seattle was going to come in and win twice in Dallas. We found a way to win Game 1 versus Colorado, found a way to win Game 1 in Dallas, but this looks like it could be a long series. So we'll be all right. We'll be good. And we will talk soon.
You're never responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card.
Yep. Plus, what do you think the vibe is going to be in Seattle? At home? I mean, the crowd is going to be so fucking passionate. I mean, that's one thing about the Northwest, and especially the Pacific Northwest. We're not going to count California for the West Coast teams, but, Oregon and Washington fans are built different. Like, doesn't matter what the record is, you know what I mean? Like, once we're on board, like I said, we'll be just as loud as anybody, and we might even have less people, in the building compared to other teams and whatnot, but we can still, show that we have that passion. It's like the Ducks, like out of all the other schools that are ahead of them, they typically have like 100,000, in attendance in their stadium, like Ohio State, Penn State. We're only around 50, but, for every one of us, it's like two of, someone else in another building. But it's going to be fucking loud in Seattle, let me tell you. Nice save.
Certainly, this Kraken power play needs to be better. They want to find continued success in the playoffs. It's a key. So here's an opportunity for them. What better time to find their rhythm? To get them
All good, man. I'll be back. Appreciate you coming through.
The regular season, it wasn't great. Less than 20% in today's NHL.
4-1 Dallas, 6 minutes left. We got the power play I wanted, but obviously we're not capitalizing on it. But like I said, I would love for this to end up being 4-2 or 4-3. I might be asking a little too much based off how the game has been played out. But, I mean, obviously it's like, burn the tape and forget this game, obviously, for Seattle. But, I mean, I would like to see some great effort here And that could definitely help us get off to a fast start when we get in Seattle in game 3, which I believe will be, what will that be, Saturday?
Really good job, including Delandria. Come in and sort of brought into that system and really evolved this season.
Yeah, that's tough for your Cardinals, like thinking that you might be able to win the division and then you're just in last place and they just keep getting fucking worse and worse. And, you know, did you get your guy called back up from AAA or is he still down there? Walker, is he still optioned in AAA or did they bring him back up? Fuck. To be honest, I mean, that would have to first start off with an amazing top 10 coach that can recruit. So you'd have to get that to come there. And plus, you're already in a tough division. And then you got USC and UCLA coming. So I don't know if Nebraska ever will get back to the point where they were in the 90s, or maybe being a top 25 team. But it all starts with recruiting and having a coach and being able to compete, you know, with the big boys. Like if you ended up getting like a Jim Harbaugh, if he left Michigan and let's say went to Nebraska, he is a guy that could turn it around. But that's like one of very few that would be able to turn it around. And he could actually get people to flip, you know, from going to a school like a Michigan or Ohio State to try to build it, you know, with him. But if you don't have someone that has that type of aura, you know, then it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Just the Big Ten is so competitive. You know, but I do think like with if you had a good coach, you know, you could end up getting to a point maybe where you win 7 or 8 games and you finish like 3rd or 4th or 5th in the division instead of that like the bottom, you know. But like I said, it would take a lot. And I think you know that too. You know, it's not like they have Ndamukong Kongsus or Levante Davids every year on the roster, you know, and once you get like some NFL type of players, but again, they haven't really been the same since, you know, the coaching and the recruiting back then. Because back when Nebraska was good, that was like when Miami was really good. And now neither team is really as dominant as they were. Yeah, unbelievable that they sent him down. He actually was doing pretty good. When I watched him in Seattle, he looked great. You know, I think there's a lot more problems in fucking Jordan Walker, unless they're trying to like bring a pitcher up for him because the pitching has been bad. But still, he deserved to stay on the roster. I would have not sent him down. He did not deserve that. So hopefully he doesn't get depressed like Kelenic did when he got sent down, because it fucked with his mentals because he believed that he deserved to be on the roster and not be sent down. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Oh, you can't bench Goldie and Arenado. They're 2 of the best in the world.
Do you hear that? That is the sound of BMW performance without a single piston or cylinder.
Yeah, but the way that the hitting has been and the pitching has been, it's like they need all the help that they can get, like the Mariners. You know, it's like you don't want to, you know, get rid of a guy or send a guy away. Like some people wanted Kelenic gone, and I was like, dude, this might be the X factor, you know, going into the year, considering we don't really know what we're going to get consistently out of like Cal Raleigh or Eugenio Suarez or Teoscar Hernandez from the Blue Jays or Ty France if he can stay healthy. Julio hasn't been as good as he was in his rookie year, but Kelenic has really been holding it down. And, you know, we had Reflect and a few others that were like, trade him. But I don't think they thought that the back end of the lineup, 7, 8, 9 hitters and DH would be as terrible as they were. So it's like you can't afford to trade a guy who's like literally been the most valuable for us all year. You know, and I like Jared a lot, and I wouldn't want to trade him. Even if we could get a lot for him, still wouldn't want to. I've always liked Jared. I've always, you know, there's just certain guys that you know, just because you have a slow start or you go down to AAA doesn't mean you just give up on a guy. Yeah, I like Walker a lot. Seattle and Dallas, Vegas Knights, Edmonton, Florida, Toronto, Carolina, and the New Jersey Devils. So if somehow Seattle won this series in 7, who would be more likely to win between the Vegas Knights and Edmonton? Edmonton? There we go. See? You have to ask the sports gods, and then they listen. Let's go. This is how you go. You know, this is how it goes. You're getting your ass kicked. You don't give up. And that's why I like the Seattle team that, no matter what, they don't stop fighting. They don't, shrug their shoulders and just be like, fuck it. They just keep trying. I love that. Nice job, Jordan. I love it when I can just talk shit into existence. It's like, yes, we lost. I get it, but keep fighting. Show me that you care. Show me that you are wanting to win, at home. And there it is. It's that ESP, baby. All right, 4-2. Got plenty of time to get it to 4-3. And I know some people think that would be so irrelevant, and it doesn't matter. It does. I mean, sports is like a lot of, physicality, but there is a mental side to sports too. We just needed to be able to get off to a better start early on. Oh, that would be amazing. I wouldn't count on it, though. Now, if the game was in Seattle, I would say there would be a better chance for that crowd to will us to get the 2 that we needed with 3 minutes to go. But, I mean, the way that things have been going, I'd just be happy with one more goal just to show that we're fighting. Hit the back of the goal there. Yeah. Well, we have Jamison Meza as one of our regulars here, and he's a big Nebraska fan. So if you come in here, you'll be able to talk Nebraska football with him all day, all night. He knows everything Nebraska. So you won't be the only one. But you know what? They had a hell of a team in the 90s, though, let me tell you. They were really fun to watch. When it was like the prestige, with like them in Miami, that was like the cream of the crop. If you wanted to go and play football, yeah, you could have did Florida State, but God, Nebraska and Miami were something else. Or even when Oregon had Joey Harrington, it was like Colorado, Oregon, Nebraska, and Miami. Those were the 4 best. And honestly, we should have played Miami in the championship, not Colorado. But if we would have got our ass kicked, kind of like what happened to Nebraska. But we took care of Colorado, though. Oh, really? Yadier Molina. Yeah, well, he's a Hall of Famer. Contreras isn't a Hall of Famer. Obviously we know what the Contreras bros, but yeah, I mean, there's and also not having Waino healthy at the beginning of the year, pitching not being good, falling behind early. I mean, there's a number of factors, leaving guys stranded. There's just been a lot, but the pitching and the hitting haven't worked out. I mean, the Mariners are kind of in the same boat. We both thought we would be much better off, but since you guys lost Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols, a little bit of that magic went away with those guys leaving too. So, oh yeah, Tom, he was incredible, man. Because I started watching football, around 85. So, which I know that seems crazy and whatnot. I've been watching for that long, but lots of memories though, and at that time I was like 8 to 12 years old. So it was a really cool period to watch, some of those teams. That even the Huskies were fantastic back then in 91. Oh, he transferred? Nice. Empty net. 4-2. Come on, baby. Let's go, Seattle. Now Dallas is just trying to, hang on, not being as aggressive. Wide left. All right, no problem. So happy that you came through again. Appreciate you. I hope you have a great day and a good rest of your week. Yeah, I'm hoping that things get better for you guys too, because I feel that you guys are in the same boat as Seattle, where the expectations were so high, and it might be a reality where we both don't make the playoffs this year. We don't have enough pitching or timely hitting. Night, CA. All right, we got a minute 24 left. But I am proud that Seattle at least got one more because, I mean, 4-2 looks a lot better on the stat sheet than 4-1 or 4-0. We're having a conference call.
He was pretty clear as soon as the whistle went that he wanted to have a discussion about it to ensure the right call is made. And off Haskinen's blade. I don't know if we're going to catch it on this angle.
One area that, given that it takes a little bit of time to sort out, you wouldn't mind if there was a little bit of video to help out the situation like that, and boundary call, but don't have that available.
I'm looking at the schedule for tomorrow to see what we got. Nice win for the Mariners today, beating the Athletics. All right, we got Astros and Mariners at 7:10 tomorrow. I might do that. It's been a minute since I've done a Mariner game. Castillo is pitching as well, so that might be what we do tomorrow. Let me look what else is on. Obviously, Cinco de Mayo tomorrow as well. Dodgers play the Padres at 6:40. Who's pitching? Kershaw and Yu Darvish. Wow, that's a good matchup. And then for basketball, what is it? Celtics, Sixers at 4:30, Nuggets, Suns, and then for NHL, just the Devils and the Hurricanes at 5. So we'll figure out what we decide to do tomorrow. $30 seconds to go. But either Devils, Hurricanes at 5, or maybe the Mariner game with Castillo. $20 seconds to go. Everyone's scrapping in the corner here. Well, Dallas fans can feel great about today. They didn't need 4 goals from Joe to get the dub, and they were aggressive. They played great defense. Goaltending was superb, and they tied the series, and that's exactly what they needed. This was a must-win for Dallas, not a must-win for Seattle, and they played like it. Final score, Dallas 4, Seattle 2. Nice win for the Stars. Man, let me look to see. Saturday, the Oilers so at 4 p.m. on Saturday, and then Kraken will be on Sunday. Sunday night will be game 3. So I'll definitely do that particular matchup. But we'll figure out what we decide to do tomorrow. So I appreciate all you guys. Let's give the Stars a little love. All right, Joe. You did it today. It's all good. Still, you're not going to be able to win every matchup, but we'll be able to fight back. Shout out to the Stars for playing fantastic today. And then we're going back to Seattle. So I'm excited for the opportunity, and hopefully we have a way to be able to get off to a fast start and get the crowd to stay into the matchup throughout the whole game. So definitely excited for Sunday night, but we'll figure out what we do, Mariners, Dodgers, or NHL playoffs tomorrow. So, yep, I'm ready. Well, I appreciate every single one that chatted on here, that donated, shared on Twitter. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And then, again, we'll be back tomorrow for either playoff hockey, Mariners, or Dodgers. And we'll be following multiple things, obviously, with the streams. Appreciate everyone that liked, shared, donated. You guys are the best. And we'll be back tomorrow very shortly with another stream. Shout out to John, Sarah, Preston, everyone in the building, CA. You guys are the best. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.